clinic series. The program was launched on 15th of October.
This conference will now be recorded.
Conducted 14 web clinic sessions on on 4 major identified sectors. And these are agriculture and allied sector, MSME and economy, social infrastructure, and this week, today and tomorrow, we will be discussing on cross-sectoral areas. As you know, in Department of Science and Technology is aimed at catalyzing the cross-bridge collaborations among knowledge organizations, NGOs, and communities to address the sustainable development at the local level through science, technology, and innovation. The initiative is targeted to strengthen the social infrastructure and technology-driven system. These are pillars of Atmanirbhar Bharat. These missions are intended to look for artisan revival program, skill development programs for farmers, including unemployed youth, science labs or fab labs for school children and knowledge institutions, SMT capacity building focusing on migrant workers, small farmers, street vendors, and the poor for self-sufficient villages, creating ecology and environment for inclusive opportunities at local level based on natural resources. We have today 3 lead talks followed by panel discussion on emerging technologies, and this will be concluded by open discussion. And I request all the participants to share your experiences, ask questions, and interact actively with the experts. And you are also welcome to give suggestions and challenges faced at the field level in implementation. Tomorrow, the 4th December, we will have the last session of the web clinic series, and I am pleased to inform you all that the session will be graced by Honorable Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India, Professor Vigyan, and he will deliver a special address at 4:15 p.m. We request you all to be present in tomorrow's valedictory session. This web clinic, the entire series, has been hosted and implemented and managed at the India Science, Technology and Innovation web portal in Vigyan, Prasar. The portal is basically a veritable repository of India's scientific research activities in every field. It also hosts information about the organizations carrying out the research, those funding them, the collaborations, the scientists involved in the research, the states in which these are being carried out, their achievements and impacts. The web clinic is being relayed at DST YouTube and ISTI Facebook today. Today's program will be moderated by Dr. Ketaki Bapat, Senior Scientist in the Office of PSA, and Dr. Rashmi Sharma, Scientist in Department of Science and Technology in the Seed Division. The web clinic has been organized in collaboration with the Office of PSA, Vigyan Prasar by DST, with the knowledge partners FICCI, Agni, HESCO, Uttarakhand, and WWF Delhi. I now invite Dr. Debapriya Datta, Advisor and Head Seed Division, DST, to give his introductory remarks and overview of the journey undertaken so far. Before inviting Dr. Datta, I have a submission to all the presenters and the participants to kindly switch off your microphones to avoid any disturbances during the session. Thank you so much. I now request Dr. Debapriya Datta to come online and live. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Kinkini ji. Good afternoon, namaskar, namaste to all of you. I think we are very happy that ultimately we are on the the concluding week of this web clinic, the Science Society Setu for Atmanirbhar Bharat. When we started with the hypothesis that there is an systemic gap at the community's end for the absorption of the science and technology, the input. Then there is between the non-governmental organizations and the startups who work as the setu between this knowledge, the chain. So there is an knowledge updations, the gap is there. and also the knowledge organizations, who are involved in the knowledge generations, their orientations towards the problems, that's the gap area. So after this traveling of this 14 weeks, where the topics or the themes which are aligned to the Atmanirbhar Bharat's the infrastructure development, our focus was on to develop a parallel knowledge infrastructure to supplement that. And we are now in this this 15th the sessions, and in the 8th week we have found it out that a lot of lessons we have learned on this regarding this systemic gap. We have found out many opportunities, and also now we are ready with the follow-up actions. And in this context, we have found these collaborations opportunities between all these stakeholders, that is the knowledge organizations with the NGOs and the startups, and with the communities, even within the between the different ministries. We had a very good already the follow-up actions with the Ministry of MSME, Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprise. We had the follow-up with the Department of the Animal Husbandry, with the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. And in that spirit, I the request today the Joint Secretary from the Ministry of Panchayati Raj, Khushbant Sethi, for his comments to find it out that how this knowledge infrastructures development can be aligned to the Panchayati Raj, the ministry's activity, because it's a very important, the ministry which is linked to the, our Panchayati Raj system on the ground, and how we can collaborate and can make this, the chain, more strong, and the setu between the science and society more strong. Mr. Sethi, please.
Yeah. Share.
Good afternoon. It is indeed a pleasure for me to be able to join with all of you today on a subject that is very close to my heart. As we all know that our country has made remarkable growth, remarkable economic growth over the past few decades, with significant achievements in the areas of agriculture, science and technology, health, rural development, poverty alleviation, education, and more specifically, more importantly, science and technology. However, the economic growth that we have experienced so far has been largely propelled by the large metro cities and the urban areas in the country. And the rural areas, however, have relatively been lesser touched, so to say, by the advances that we have made in various fields. Therefore, as we rise up to the call for Atmanirbhar Bharat, it is all the more incumbent for us to pay adequate focus and attention to these areas. In the context of the rural poor, I would also like to say that during the pandemic, specifically as the pandemic unrolled, and the poor people, we saw the reverse migration happening from the cities to the rural areas. So this has really helped to highlight the issue of migration and the poor, both in the urban and the rural areas. So it is therefore incumbent upon us to make adequate efforts to address the issues relating to their livelihoods, and to ensure that the achievements that we have made in science and technology adequately touch the lives of the common man, and help to make what is the PM's call the ease of living for the common man. So it is in this context that the Ministry of Panchayati Raj has been collaborating with the Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor. And in this regard, I would like to thank Dr. Ketaki Bapat, who has very generously been supporting the ministry in this endeavor in various sectors, and also the Department of Science and Technology, with whom we have now a collaborative project. So I would also like to speak a little about this collaborative project. As I mentioned earlier, during the reverse migration, the plight of the poor particularly came into sharp focus. So it is in this context that the ministry thought it pertinent that to elevate the plight of the poor vegetable cart vendors. Specifically, this issue came to our notice because, as we have seen, that although we have made rapid strides in science and technology, we have today IITs that are globally recognized as world-class institutions. Our engineers, alumni from these IITs now occupy the top positions globally in all the multinationals abroad, and for which we are all proud. However, despite this achievement in the areas of science and technology, areas such as the vegetable vending cart that the poor earn their livelihood from, we have not seen any of the inputs of high technology in those with specific regard to this area. So therefore, we have brought this from the ministry side. We have specifically brought this to the attention of the office of the PSA, and I'm happy to state that Dr. Ketaki Bapat has given full support on this, and not only from the RUTEC side, but also collaborated in this regard with the Department of Science and Technology. And Department of Science and Technology has been kind enough to now approve a project in this regard, where a new model of vegetable vending cart incorporating various aspects such as cooling, or such as being ergonomic, or having a canopy, or having adequate storage space, a well-organized storage space, so as to reduce the losses of these vegetable cart vendors. All these would be integrated, and then we hope that soon this vegetable vending cart, improved smart vegetable vending cart, will be rolled out, and that would greatly help to elevate the lot of the poor across the country. So I hope that the distinguished participants in today's workshop will all come together in a convergence mode and address various issues that are required for the ease of living of the common man, and that we will be able to, in the coming years, see remarkable progress in this regard, and to actually make the Atmanirbhar Bharat a grand success that it is conceived to be. So with these few words, I would not stand between you and the rest of the sessions. Thank you, and wish you all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sethi. Before go ahead, Mr. Sethi, I have one point and request and suggestions. From the Ministry of Science and Technology, especially when we work with the community, it is sometimes difficult to link up with the real requirement on the field. And in this context, could we collaborate with the Panchayati Raj Ministry, because you have a huge network across the country with the panchayats being in the network, and use them as a node, and through technology can bring out the real problems which we can align our the research systems to orient towards. Otherwise, our knowledge system and the as you're saying, the social system for ease of living are not properly aligned, and which is a requirement of Atmanirbhar Bharat. So I request you, if you we can work together, and if you're you can identify some of your officials whom we can get in touch and can make this alignment, which will be a very good the initiations for us to get the real problem first.
Dr. Datta, thank you so much. I'm really grateful that you have brought up this proposal. We would indeed be very, very happy to collaborate with you in this regard, even for this smart vegetable vending cart. When we were collaborating with the PSA's office, they had many questions. They wanted some inputs from the grassroots level. So we quickly talked to the different states. We carried out field surveys. We helped them carry out field surveys, very structured field surveys that gave them an exact feel of what is the requirement at the ground level. So similarly, if you have any such institutions, any such proposals, or any such areas where you think we can be of any help to you, it will indeed be a pleasure for us in the Ministry of Panchayati Raj. And I can also vouch that our Secretary Sir is extremely positive and extremely has very open views on this in this regard, and that from his side also we will be really very happy to collaborate with you in this regard. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Secretary Sir. I think now I hand it over to my, the colleague, Dr. The Bapat, to take this, this our web clinic next the discussions ahead. Dr. Bapat, please.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Datta. We are really looking forward for this web clinic session today, and I'll be very happy in starting this session, which is of the lead speaker. We have today 3 lead speakers who will be sharing their exciting journey and their experiences they will be sharing with us. And each lead speaker is allocated 15 minutes to share their experiences and the presentations. So I would request all these 3 lead speakers to give the time. And now I will, our first speaker is Dr. S. Ramesh Saktivel, who is the Associate Professor and Head at NIRDPR Hyderabad. He has done civil engineering and also PhD from SRCT, IIT Delhi. He has over 40 publications, lot of patents, technology transfers, and he's associated very passionately with the technology dissemination at rural levels. He is also in charge of Rural Technology Park at NIRDPR. Let us hear from him. I welcome Dr. Ramesh Saktivel for this session. Please open this session with your presentation. Dr. Ramesh Saktivel. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Bapat. It is indeed a pleasure to share our work and explore the possibilities of promoting science and technology-based rural livelihood and entrepreneurship promotion. That's what the institute that I work with, National Institute of Rural Development and Panchayat Raj, has been doing. And my division, especially the Center for Innovations and Appropriate Technologies, we're promoting it last 20 years. And the Rural Technology Park was set up. I think the state division also was involved in supporting it in the earlier days. And I'm happy that we are again getting in touch with the state division and the ISTI to take this work forward. And next slide, please. So I think I would also place my regards for DST team, and especially Dr. Datta and his team, who have invited us to present our work in this very important deliberation that is going on in promoting science and technology in rural areas. So just to give you a background, NIRDPR and the Rural Technology Park, like NIRDPR, like the Secretary Sir spoke just now, I think we hold both the ministries, service both the ministries in terms of rural development and panchayat system in terms of capacity building, and we are recognized as a national level center of excellence, and we come under both the ministries are supporting us, and we form the staff training or the stakeholder training programs are taken up by us nationally. And also it's a well recognized system where the Rural Technology Park was, like I said, this other mandate is, it started in 2002 formally, and it lasts nearly close to 20 years. We have been very successfully managing it to promote appropriate technology-based solutions and promoting entrepreneurship and livelihood in rural areas. So, and also we are expanding it, and we are establishing one in Vaishali, Bihar, and also we are helping the state SIRD, State Institute of Rural Developments, to also come up with rural technology parks, because they are our sister concerns that they're working in the state, and we work with them very closely. And now there is a proposal to expand the rural technology park movement across different different states. With there's more ripples are created with the science and technology based livelihood and sustainable promotion and entrepreneurship promotion in rural areas. Next slide, please. Next. Yeah, the technology park, like I would just give you the brief, like it's started with the objective of promoting appropriate technology and supporting entrepreneurship through awareness creating, capacity building, that is through training and demonstration, and also create awareness and among policymakers, officials, PRIs. There is a large footfall of people who come here, more than a lakh, probably it is even more in some years. And support RD programs like housing is one of the areas, or solar, renewable energy. Like we work on various demand that comes from the state. We also provide technology support, backup, and also training. And we also conduct customized training programs to promote different technologies, workshops, seminars, and technology transfers. Like to quote an example, like we had a S&T institutions coming, R&D the labs coming to us, and we had a joint meeting workshop with the PSA's office last year, which was very successful, and we have started collaborating with CFTRI Mysore and others who came through for the workshop. So we also conduct such initiatives so that we take ideas from these S&T based organizations or R&D labs and take it forward in the rural domain. So that is one of the mandates that we closely work. And also we help technology promoters to penetrate in the system. Sometimes special projects like Lakshadweep, we install a lot of solar and wind based technologies for power generation. So we work with the Lakshadweep administration and we help them. And also with the NFDB, the Fishery Development Board, we also provide backup support in terms of installation of the solar and renewable energy based technologies in their projects. And finally, like we through the Rural Technology Park, we try to leverage the potential of entrepreneurs who are mature and they have technologies which are ready to be implemented in rural areas by entrepreneurs. So we identify them and house them in the Rural Technology Park. And also we are looking forward to get more technology support from S&T institutions. I think this is a platform we really look forward to the association with SEED, so that how do we actually have a government institutions also come in and play a role in promoting rural entrepreneurship and livelihood promotion in rural areas. So that's one of the mandates that we are trying to leverage now with the current initiative that is being done by SEED. Can you go to the next slide, please? Next slide, please. Yeah. So just to give you a framework, like we work on various aspects. One is agriculture and allied sector. And sustainable housing is a large. We have this National Rural Building Center, probably the first of its kind in the country. We have carried out experimental buildings with more than 20 buildings with more than 100 technologies from various parts of the country, and that is acting as a museum for people who look forward on sustainable housing. We also have work on sustainable energy, which is renewable energy areas, solar, wind, and other biogas. Other technologies, and food processing also is one of the areas we work. We have soya and millet processing and mushroom and related areas that we have entrepreneurs who are promoting the technologies, and organic and home-based products like soap, surf, phenol making, herbal products. So there is a range of things that we train rural entrepreneurs. And we also have this crafts and allied activity. We have handmade paper unit, and we have natural dyeing, like we train weavers and on natural dyeing processes. So we have partners who work on such areas, including clay and other clay products making. And then water sanitation is one area. We keep promoting technologies related to water sanitation through the technology park. And we also provide incubation and startup support in a different form. Like we conduct this rural innovators startup conclave, and annually, like third year we completed. Unfortunately, this year we have because of pandemic we have not started that event. Otherwise, it is turning out to be a stepping stone for various entrepreneurs or innovators who come from the rural area with a focus on rural innovations. So we also award a prize money, and then we give them startup support. Like they are sometimes given space in Rural Technology Park to operate with. So and also they get recognized and picked up by various venture capitalists and others. So it's a different form of incubation that we we are trying to do. Although we don't have a DST recognized incubation center like the Atal incubation facility, but we do it in a different way, and we try to give them support to carry out their work. So this is about the framework of Rural Technology Park. Can we go to the next slide, please? And we are a little different. Like, we work with the PPP model. We encourage matured entrepreneurs and innovators to come to us. They in turn handle a lot of budding entrepreneurs and others who come to take ideas from here. So that's slightly different from other incubation centers. So we incubate the matured technology backed entrepreneurs who are really doing well. We identify them, shortlist them, and we have areas allotted to them, and then they join us as a partner in promoting this science and technology base, which is very, very unique. I mean, in the country that we have people who are running live businesses in the campus, and they are being asked to be a trainer, and then finally they deliver the program. So which is very different. So people come and learn quite efficiently because they are seeing and learning, not theoretically but hands-on. And we give opportunities for a wide range of people, like rural women. SHGs from the livelihood mission is one of the areas, and youth, farmers, budding entrepreneurs or innovators are also supported. Officials, we have training programs, more than I think 10,000, 20,000 people who come for the training programs. I think that is an opportunity for us to penetrate across the states in India. And also a lot of college students and NGOs and school children come here to understand the technologies that are being promoted here. So which makes us very special, and we have a footfall, like I said, it's more than 1 lakh or sometimes even more in a year. So that's why the entrepreneurs also get their business model get going, and at the same time they act as a partner in promoting science and technology-based interventions for promoting in rural areas. Can we go to the next slide, please? Next slide, please. Yeah, the impact is like, one is the idea of joining hands with matured technology promoters, whether it could be government agency or it could be private individual. So we join hands and have this live demonstration production and which more than nearly 30 units are there running more than 40-50 different variety of training programs that keeps going. In a year, we train more than I think 200-300 programs annually in a year in the campus. And over 3,000 to 5,000 entrepreneurs we train annually, and most of them are successful because we select them through SHGs and the NGO movement like that. So the success rate is quite high, higher than the normal training course which MSME ministry training institutes do. And also we sensitize quite a large of number of officials and PRIs and students. And technology transfer initiative, I said we handled a lot of these mature ideas which can be transmitted to rural areas. So like what Secretary Sir was saying, like the cards or cooling, solar-based cooling or ice making plants, like that, solar dehydrators. So we keep supporting these initiatives which are taken by the state government, and we act as a agent of technology transfer, where mature technologies are transferred appropriately to the required departments and institutes which are seeking this support. And finally, like we also have this Rural Innovator Startup Conclave, which I mentioned, and also we conduct an annual Mela, that is Rural Technology and Crafts Mela, very popular in this part of the country, and we bring in various artisans and craftsmen from various parts of the country, and it's a 5-day event. It's like done like in the Saras Mela that is being done. So even now Saras, because Kapat has merged with NIRD, now we will be doing the national level Saras Melas in the Delhi and other places. So that is also one of the mandate of marketing rural products will be taken up by NIRD after Kapat merger at the national level also now. So earlier we were only conducting this Mela in the campus here in Hyderabad, but now I think with this merger of Kapat with NIRD, we will be having more outreach on the supporting the rural crops persons from rural areas. Can we go to the next slide, please? Next slide. Yeah. So these are some glimpses of the training programs that happen: solar and solar equipment assembly, or soaps of making, or tribal jewelry making. So it's just a slide that shows you the kind of training programs that keeps going on in the campus. Can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah, so I think Dr. Datta was asking me that we should also look at the potentials of what holds in RD, rural development and Panchayat Raj. Sorry, I missed out the PR there. And we have various flagship programs that are being anchored by the ministries, both the ministries. So one of the thing is MGNREGA is a big opportunity wherein we touch more than 6 lakh plus villages in the country. And asset creation and land and water management, these are quite big an opportunity for R&D institutions which have created appropriate technologies for this area. So we can really scale up. I mean, I think from our experience, there is a lag. Like the labs have beautiful technologies created, but somewhere we need to push it unless if it is a product which is picked up by a private entity, it gets into the market. But otherwise, most technologies stay in the lab, which needs an applied support like a training and then promotion. So consistent support makes some of these technologies penetrate in the rural areas and entrepreneurs pick up. So from that point of view, I think initiatives like this, and also the NRLM, the next one, wherein large number of SHGs, more than 2.2 lakh SHGs are currently associated with this program across the country. This is a big potential. So we have been training people on various products that can be made, and we are quite successful in creating this atmosphere where SHGs pick up this technology-based livelihood and the entrepreneurship models. So I think that is one of the options it's available, and also the SVP program or producer organizations are being created. So there is a huge demand for they are looking for, but only thing is we need to package it, and if they learn that technologies which are actually practiced, like what we do here with entrepreneurs, so that is an opportunity. They are able to see it, and rather than just seeing a model and adopting it, but when it is being practiced by someone, they learn quite well, and their confidence is quite high when they see an entrepreneur making this, and then they learn from them. So they learn the nuances of actually tackling the problem at the ground level. So that's where the training programs that we do quite are effective. And also other opportunities are urban clusters are coming up. So a lot of S&T based initiatives can be promoted through the clusters, and the housing is one area. So definitely there's lot can be pushed, and the ministry's new vision of greening the housing program with sustainable materials and other things is an opportunity for the S&T based R&D labs to come in with new technologies which makes the housing green. So that's also ministry is now coming up with a guideline where the greening also is going to be part of the mission. And also the roads program, GSY, and then DDUGKY is a large skill-based training, employment-based training program. So we have more than 1,000 odd training centers in the country, so that can be tapped in. And of course, the GPs, the Joint Secretary Sir was saying, like GPs is a big potential, and there is quite a lot of infrastructure and amenities like the CFCs, common facility centers. These can be operated through MGNREGA. Also, this can be created. So we find more than, I think, 2.7 lakh GPs in the country. So there is a big opportunity for S&T based promotion, the technology promotion in these areas. So and also the large network of SIRDs and ETCs, the extension training centers, which more than 100 plus are there in the country, and also the rural self-employment training institutes, which are supported by the lead banks in the districts. More than 585 RCTs are there in the country. So there is a vast network available in the R&D rural development arena. If you are looking at, I think S&T institutions, and I think there is a big potential if we can tap in with the structures that is available in the RD sphere, Panchayat Raj, rural development and Panchayat sphere. So can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah, next slide. Can we have? Yeah. So I think one is this formal collaborations really would mean a lot. I think that SEED and DST can facilitate this. Otherwise, each lab, it will be really a tough task for someone to associate with. Maybe a platform, that's what PSA office, I think Dr. Bapat and me, we used to discuss on this quite a lot. And if there can be a formal node which is looking at RD areas and Panchayat Raj, how we can tap in things from the labs, and there can be a node created through SEED, and then which can support various forms of dissemination that can happen. And also, like in Rural Technology Park, we were discussing that RUTAC technologies and also SNT labs. We can have a live demonstration gallery, which Professor Agnihotri also was mentioning this, and we have been discussing this with various people. I think it's one of the opportunities that when you have a technology which is actually running and people can come and see, there can be at least the big impact technologies which can promote a lot of entrepreneurship and livelihood in rural areas can be thought of, if not everything, but at least things which need to be picked up by rural people, and there is a demand and they can make a living out of it. I think such technologies demonstration would be an ideal thing, and I would explore. We will be happy to explore this opportunity with SEED, and how do we go about it in the future. And capacity building is a big thing. I think every technology, it cannot be just showcased and it will be picked up, but we need to conduct training programs and then promote it as a proper knowledge that can be disseminated. Then people will pick up. So that is one of the thing that we feel that is important. Can we go to the next slide, please? Next slide, please. The next. Can we have the next slide? Yeah, please.
Yeah, this is the one.
Acha, sorry.
Yeah.
So
This
it's also like, so we do this innovators conclave annually. Like similarly, like maybe an interface with R&D institutions and technologies which can be adopted well in rural areas. We can have an annual conclave of entrepreneurs and prospective people can come and visit and pick up, like the agri expos that happen in rural area, in the country across India. So similarly, but entrepreneurial technologies, SNT institutions, technologies from the lab are less, displayed, and it is, I think that's one of the one of the technologies developed. I think it can be picked up by people who are looking for business, because there are a lot of people who come and visit us and ask for ideas that are what business they should start. I think this kind of annual events or maybe quarterly or half-yearly event on theme based could be an opportunity. And also a forum to discuss R&D institutions, regular interactions with institutions like us and working in rural areas. That is an important thing. And finally, a disseminate and portal, like a portal which focuses on rural initiatives, can be put in technologies relevant to rural areas, which can be picked up by people, and also a systemic dissemination through WhatsApp. Like we have a WhatsApp group for the Panchayat secretaries across the country. So all the Panchayat secretaries are connected. So we can create snippets of things, post it.
Dr.
So
Shastri, please conclude. Please conclude.
Yes, ma'am. This is my last slide.
Yeah. This
can be done in through various channels apart from portal, WhatsApp groups, and have the next slide. I think that's my last.
Yeah.
Can we have? Yeah. So I think yeah, this is my last slide. Yeah. So these are some glimpses of our facility here, and how do we work on various things like leaf plate making or natural dyeing or solar wind hybrids that we promote, and then mushroom cultivation, paper making, and mud block making. So like that, we will be very happy to really chip in and then work with SEED on this mission in the future. And we'll be very happy to collaborate with R&D institutions which are looking at promoting technologies, because we run more than 1,500 programs annually. Training is our main mandate. So we will be incorporating this with a model where people can pick up. With this, I stop, and thanks a lot for the opportunity and hearing me patiently. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Saktivel. It was very heartening to know that a lot of opportunities are there, and definitely we will be working out. Our next lead speaker is Dr. Vigyan. He will be sharing with us. He will be sharing with us the emerging role of demand-driven local innovations in self-reliance of the nation. Before that, I would like to say some few words about Dr. Vigyan. He is a director and chief innovation officer at National Innovation Foundation, an institution of Department of Science and Technology. And his research interests are incubation and promotion of inclusive frugal innovations by way of value addition, IPR, and complete wholesome kind of aspects. NIF looks at it, and with his expertise, a lot of technologies are the resource person in UNESCO course of innovation management and workshops of policymakers, researchers to develop the roadmap for innovation, incubation, and promotion of the APAC region, that is Asia Pacific region. And he is instrumental in bringing and building social and inclusive innovations-based relationship between India and ASEAN member states. So he's also an instrumental person for Inspire Award Manak, and also the entrepreneurship, the Festival of Innovation for Entrepreneurs, which actually motivates millions of school students to pursue science and science as a career and research orientation. So may I now invite Dr. Vigyan Kumar to share his experience and how we can basically strengthen the innovations. Please, Dr. Vigyan Kumar, please mind the time for 15 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ketki Bapat. Let me first compliment SEED Division of Department of Science and Technology, PSA Office, and Vigyan Prasar for this wonderful series. I'm also thankful to you all for giving me this opportunity to share my views with this great audience. Next slide, please. So in my presentation, I'll be focused on some of the innovations which are coming from the grassroots and how it is becoming impactful for the nation and how they can contribute in the self-reliance of the country. Many times when we see the innovation or the ideas which are coming from a common person, so it is at very basic level, might be at TRL 3 or TRL 4, maximum at TRL 5. But if you really want to take it to the masses, you have to convert it from TRL 4 to TRL 10, then only the people will accept it. And in my presentation, I'll share, those sort of stories today. Why grassroots innovations? Why, next please, why they are relevant in today's context. Next please. Next slide. Yeah. See, they do have the 4 things. In fact, they are frugal, they are friendly, they are flexible, and they are futuristic. Many times we hear about lab to land model, which is very successful, but this is a land to lab to land model. The innovations or the ideas from a grassroots person, basically he's not aware that he's doing innovation. He's trying to sort out some of the problems or unsolved problems, and many times they are doing some modification in the existing technologies, and it might be useful because it is coming directly from the person who is involved in the issues, and after some value addition, they can do wonders in the society. Next please. So what side of what sort of these innovations are there? You see that there are two innovations. One is from school student and one is from grassroots innovator. In both the things, in fact, at this time I can say that government is the buyer. Many other people are the buyer. And why they are the buyer? Because they have the three things. One is the innovative, that's fine. In fact, they are the finished product. Second, they have the complete value chain, and they can provide the after-sale services. So through some startup companies, in fact, those things are reaching to the masses. And these are the examples of what Francis Gore has mentioned, that India is a leader in frugal and demand-driven innovation, which can address its social and environmental problem. This was the statement when we invited Francis Gore to one of our event Festival of Innovation in 2017, and we have showed some of the innovations. And that time he has given this powerful statement, which is true. Next, please. So we always celebrate that India is moving ahead, in global innovation index. But if you and obviously, in fact, from 81 to 48, we have reached, in last 6 years. But if you further decode that, what is contributing the most, it is the knowledge and technology input, the knowledge creation, the knowledge impact, and knowledge diffusion, which is the aim of this, seminar also. It is the positive thing that in knowledge diffusion also, or the innovation diffusion also, we are on the right track. But we have to, accelerate this, speed by collaborating with the right kind of people. Let us be the complementary of each other. In fact, then only what our Prime Minister is saying, that vocal, for local would be the realization, and probably these innovations will be, the boon for the nation. Next, please. So Prime Minister himself started for that. These are the glimpse of two innovations. One is CB Raju and one is Rajendra Jadhav. NIF has added the value and finally converted into the product. And they have got attention of Prime Minister. And in Mann Ki Baat, in 68th edition and 65th edition, both the innovations, were included. It is not because they have done something different. It is because they are having impact on the society. Rajendra Jadhav, in fact, he modified a orchard sprayer, and that sprayer is utilized for the sanitization of narrow lanes in many cities. In fact, in Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation, Jaipur Municipal Corporation, Nasik, and many other areas adopted this technology. And apart from it, lots of private people also support. Raju is providing employment to the almost whole village, large number of youth and self-help groups by the innovation. And innovation is not a toy making. Innovation here is the extraction of dye. All the dyes are natural. And if you see the quality of Raju's toy, is not less than anybody else actually, and that's why he's achieving excellence. And through the innovation intervention of NIF, now this technology, this sort of toys are, he's selling in, on online platforms, through online platforms also, and lots of dealer and distributors of, his technologies are also there. Next. This is a popular story, in fact. When Muruganathan, came in contact with NIF, in fact, he had the vision that he wanted to provide a sanitary napkin at very low cost. In fact, he said that at 1 rupee. So the dream of 1 rupee could never achieved, but a low-cost sanitary napkin, was required. And at that time, Dr. Mashelkar, who was the chairman of NIF, he said that, fine, we are moving ahead, but we cannot compromise with the quality, as it would be used by large number of people. So we did lots of study, in fact, what kind of material will be, appropriate for that. And if you see the quality of, his sanitary napkin pad is exactly the same what you will get at very high cost. So Muruganathan, his dream, he miniaturized the machine, in fact, basically, that was the innovation. And his dream was to generate the employment also. So approximately 9,000 machines till today he sold. And if one machine is providing sustainable employment to 4 ladies, then, to the huge number, he generated the employment. And one of this machine, what Murtunjeswar has mentioned in his presentation that it is generating employment in his village. Next, please. And he was among the top 50 leaders by the Fortune magazine, and a very popular movie Padman was based on his story. So this is also one example for vocal, for local. So Muruganathan is not the only story of NIF. Next, please move, ahead. Next, please. Another interesting case is, Malesham. Malesham, he was fed up with his own, business of Pochampalli sari making, and then he came up with that, solution because he wanted to give ease and reduce drudgery in Pochampalli sari making, So, which was the most, painful work, that is called as ASU, and he developed a machine for that. There are approximately 20,000 weaver families, and this machine has reached to 15,000 families. And because of that, a big impact. In fact, he was among the amazing Indian. Next, please. Another, movie based on his story was also there in Malesam, in Telugu in the year of 2019, and its name was Malesam actually. So it is not that these people are not getting attention. These people are getting attention, but only that there has to be a continuous support. And here science and technology matters a lot. Two things are, once reaching from the idea to the product, two things are required. One is a great idea. Another thing is, a good input of science and technology. Then nobody can stop those kind of things. Next, please. Next example is, the girl from Bihar, in fact. So she had a, given the idea of this walker, and the walker, she said that, if the people cannot climb on the stairs, in fact, who had, this problem, if the legs are could be adjustable, then probably it would be helpful for them. So lots of design and engineering, inputs NIF has given. In fact, few people have done their, internship projects, and finally the technology has been launched by 3 companies. In fact, one was Alimco, which is a government of India undertaking, and one Nasik-based company, and finally the Visco, which is one of the biggest company. And next, please. And this idea of this, girl is available on Amazon, in fact, and she's getting royalty, on the sale of every piece. Next, please. So here you have to focus on the branding also. Mitti Cool, this person was a Kumar, in fact, now working in his village, and that time he was a debt ridden person, and now, apart from earning in crores, he is providing employment opportunity for approximately 4,000 people actually throughout country. Next, please. I'm moving fast because the time is less actually. So it is not that only the engineering innovations, many innovations may be anywhere. In fact, this is an apple variety. When we started it, everybody said that how apple can grow in high temperature zone. But today, in many states, including in Gujarat and Delhi in Rashtrapati Bhavan, this is giving the fruit, and the innovator is from Himachal, in fact, who developed this variety. And finally, NIF has disseminated few like saplings throughout country. And I'm happy to say that this concept was established, that apple is not anymore the top of high altitude. Next, please. So this is my favorite slide. In fact, this many times we say that grassroots innovations are the incremental innovation. No, it is not there. In fact, when you put science in that, they can be far exceedent innovations. This person, who was an electrician in a mill, but today is the owner of 4 companies and earning in his turnover last year was 4 crore rupees. He has reduced 100%, drudgery, among the women and child, particularly for those areas where the women and children were involved in, stripping of cotton, particularly the rain-fed varieties of the cotton. Next, please. This is, another case. The rickshaw puller of yesterday is the governing board, member of Chaudhry Chand Singh University of Agriculture and Technology, Hisar. His, technology is, going everywhere. In fact, multi-purpose food processing unit he has developed. Next, please. This is the last example because, many times I hear that the people are also trying to talk about the biodiversity. So lots of people are having the traditional knowledge, and those traditional knowledge can reach to the masses through various, through a scientific way. A MST track, few other technologies are also there. This is launched by a formal company, in fact. So the idea we have taken from the person, experiments were conducted in some veterinary institutions, and in some, formulation was developed by a company, and now finally the company has taken it to the market, and the man is, getting royalty out of the sale of this technology. So lots of potential in the traditional knowledge and biodiversity is there, but you have to do a systematic validation, value addition, product development, and in human health also. NIF has a joint task force with Indian Council of Medical Research, and we are moving ahead, and hopefully, in years to come, few products will be there in the market, as 7 technologies are there in clinical trial phase. Next, please. Next, please. So yeah, I'll take 2 minutes only, not more than that.
Fine.
So, what we are doing, in fact, apart from other support, incubation support, we are providing the monitoring and non-monitoring support to the people, and non-monitoring support is your awards. And NIF award is a President Award. You see that when a grassroots person receives that award, is on the top of the world, and it changed his life. Apart from award, lots of other activities that Dr. K.T. Baba mentioned about Festival of Innovation and Entrepreneurship. Next, please. So, in that, some of the innovators are the guests of Rashtrapati ji. They stay in Rashtrapati Bhavan. They interact with Rashtrapati. Next, please. So this is probably, we are trying to give a message that this country cares the innovators, this country cares the innovations, and because of this small push of NIF, many people, from the grassroots are getting due recognition, and not 1 or 2, approximately 10 people have received the Padma Awards in last 5 years itself. In fact, 5 people have received the Padma Shri, in fact, and they deserve for that. Next, please. Next, please. So, these are last 2 slides. In fact, what are the challenges of present? In fact, the technology business incubators are everywhere. In fact, so lots of support for the technology refinement, but we have to more focus on building the relevant skill set at the workforce and building the team, so that right team, so that we could achieve a paradigm shift from pushing the technology to arrive at the stage where market pull the technology itself. Next, please. And for that, we have to do investment in the people's skill, give adequate resource to the people, and do not wait for the market to respond. We have to create market, evolve new strategy. Let us have some more discussion on how we can evolve more strategy for them and new channel of distribution. Thank you very much. And here I'm open. In fact, whatever technology NIF is having, any institution, any voluntary organization supported by DST or PSA or anybody, in fact, if they want to take it to the people, in fact, we are able to give them it low cost or no cost basis. In fact, rather the no cost basis. In fact, we want our technology to reach to the masses. In fact, and let's be the complementary of each other. In fact, whatever NIF is having, it is yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Vipin Kumar, for this excitingly sharing the grassroots level innovations. Really, we have India is a land of creative people, and it has been very well shown by your examples. Our next speaker of this session is Dr. Sharad Srivastava, who is actually his expertise in the chemotaxonomic studies of medicinal crops, and how we can and has made the excellent contribution by identifying superior chemotypes of many of the medicinal plants for their cultivation and the proper use. Also, he has published more than 150 original research paper in the reputed journals. He has been honored with Young Scientist Award from Government of Uttar Pradesh in 2010, and as a leadership skill, 137 research projects sponsored by various funding agencies, government and private, including the NAIP, NASF, ICAR, Ministry of Ayush, and so on. So today he will be sharing with all of us, that is the avenues and opportunities for rural entrepreneurship and sustainable livelihood securities. May I now invite Dr. Sharad Srivastava to share his presentation, please. Yeah, welcome,
Thank you,
Dr.
madam.
Sharad Srivastava.
Thank you, madam. Am I audible?
Yeah, just a minute. Prior to your presentation, may I request all our viewers to share their questions for these lead speakers in the chat box, so that after this presentation or after Dr. Srivastava's presentation, we may like to take some of the questions immediately. Thank you.
Shall I start? Am I audible?
Yes, please. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you, madam. First of all, I'm grateful to DST, especially Societal Mission and Vigyan Prasar and Office of the PSA, that giving an opportunity for sharing some of my field-based experiences. And in particular, I'm grateful to Dr. Datta for initiating such kind of an exceptional concept and bridging gap between the rural areas with knowledge organizations. So thank you so much, Dr. Datta and team DST. Let me share with you, madam, that we, as a CSR lab in whole and CSR NBRI in particular, we are working in the area of bioprospection, product development, value addition, and sharing our experiences with the rural communities, working a lot with different entrepreneurs, industries as well, for product development. During our field-based studies, what we found that our villagers, especially the youth, are having serious problem of getting opportunity to scale up their skill. So I'm just going to share some of the such kind of skill opportunities which we have created in our institute, and successfully conducted several such kind of skill development trainings. And I can proudly say that most of the trained people got absorbed in different sectors, and few of them have initiated their own such kind of business, either in form of nursery. In coming slides, I'll share with you. Next, please. कुछ सीरीज पहले जब एक दिन डॉक्टर दत्ता ने बोला कि आत्मनिर्भरता एक महत्वपूर्ण अंग है, और उस दिन हमारे एमएसएमई के जो जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी थे और आपस में हम लोग डिस्कशन कर रहे थे, आत्मनिर्भरता तभी होगी जब आपके अंदर आत्मविश्वास होगा, और जब आत्मविश्वास होगा, आत्मविश्वास आएगा कैसे? आत्मविश्वास तभी आएगा जब आपके पास बैकअप सपोर्ट विथ नॉलेज ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस, either CSIR, DST or NIF or many such organizations are there in our country. वहां से आपको एक नॉलेज बैकअप मिलेगा, और तभी आपके अंदर आत्मनिर्भरता आएगी, चाहे वो टेक्नोलॉजिकल बैकअप हो या स्किल बेस्ड बैकअप हो, और तभी हमारा देश स्वावलंबन की तरफ बढ़ेगा, जैसा कि प्रधानमंत्री जी का एक हमारे देश के लिए स्वप्न है। नेक्स्ट प्लीज। आप सभी को पता है कि अभी आज की डेट में, पिछले साल तक हमारे देश में बहुत बड़ी एक प्रॉब्लम चली आ रही थी अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट की, और स्पेशली अभी कोविड कंडीशन में आने के बाद से जो रिवर्स माइग्रेशन हुआ है, उससे हर स्टेट में बहुत इस बात को लेकर के चिंता और इस पे जो है एक्शन चल रहा है कि हम इसको कैसे हैंडल करें और कैसे लोगों को एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेशन के लिए आगे मोटिवेट करें। और ऑलमोस्ट आपको पता है कि चाहे वो महाराष्ट्र हो, चाहे यूपी, बिहार हो, चाहे और भी बहुत से स्टेट्स हैं जहाँ पे रिवर्स माइग्रेशन से एक बहुत सीरियस प्रॉब्लम आई है। ऑल्दो मेनी ऑफ देम आर नाउ मूविंग बैक टू देयर bases from where they have reversed to their native place, but still we have problem in our rural areas, and now each and every state is having serious concern over it. And in fact, last week CSIR signed MOU with our state UP for a technological backup, skill development, and many more such scopes to the rural youth and many unemployed sectors. Next, please. इन्हीं चीजों को ध्यान में रखते हुए वैसे तो हमारे यहाँ स्किल डेवलपमेंट का प्रोग्राम पिछले काफी सालों से चल रहा है, लेकिन अभी जो रिवर्स माइग्रेशन हुआ है उसको देखते हुए हम लोगों ने जो इनिशिएटिव लिया और उसमें कुछ चीजें अभी और एड ऑन की हैं, जिसमें हम लोगों की ये जो भी स्किल डेवलपमेंट के प्रोग्राम है वो एसडीसी स्किल डेवलपमेंट काउंसिल से अप्रूव भी हैं, कुछ एक आयुष मिनिस्ट्री से हैं और दो हमारे स्पेशली जो है ग्रीन स्किल डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम है। मैं बहुत ज्यादा डिटेल सब में नहीं जाऊंगा क्योंकि बहुत चीजें हमारे वेबसाइट पे अवेलेबल है और जो हमारी जरूरत की है, जो हम चाहते हैं कि हमारे विलेजेस को, हमारे रूरल यूथ को वोकल फॉर लोकल का जो हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी का एक कहना है उसको हम उसको शेयर करें।
Please mute the mic.
So we have initiated this kind of skill development last couple of years, and especially this year after a kind of extensive survey of this reverse migration. जैसा कि आप देख रहे हैं प्लांट टिश्यू कल्चर का एक बहुत अच्छा स्कोप हमें दिख रहा है फ्लोरिकल्चर को लेकर के। बहुत सी जगह पे सॉइल और वाटर टेस्टिंग की ये जो अब आपको मैं यहाँ दिखा रहा हूँ स्लाइड में, ये सिर्फ हमारी अपनी जनरेशन नहीं है, डिफरेंट स्टेट से डिमांड के तौर पे हमारे पास आई थी एंड वी आर सर्विंग टू महाराष्ट्र, कर्नाटका एंड यूपी एंड एमपी। सो अनदर पॉइंट इज गार्डनर्स की हमारे देश में बहुत कमी होती जा रही है, हमारे पास स्किल्ड माली नहीं मिल रहे हैं और अगर आप देखें तो ये कोई बहुत बड़ा काम नहीं है, लेकिन इनकी ट्रेनिंग देना, इनको मोटिवेट करके इस लेवल पर लाना एक बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण कार्य है। CSIR is known for the technological intervention, but now CSIR is moving towards outreach activities, and I can say proudly that many of the CSIR have initiated such or similar different skill development initiative. And another unique one is this quality analysis for urban industry. This skill initiative is approved by Ministry of Ayush, and if required, I can share the geo where they have straight away circulated that the trained manpower will get immediately absorbed by Ayush industries. And हमारे पास एक डिमांड और आती थी कि टेक्नीशियंस फॉर मॉलिकुलर स्टडीज और बायोइन्फॉर्मेटिक्स, जो बच्चे हमारे गांव के ग्रेजुएशन है या इंटर करके जिन्होंने कंप्यूटर साइंस में कुछ काम किया है, तो उनको हम स्केल अप करके थोड़ा सा टूल्स एंड टेक्निक्स सिखा करके इस लेवल पर ला सकते हैं। नेक्स्ट प्लीज। Yeah, this is the first one. See, we have a lot of opportunity here. We charge a nominal fee for the this kind of training, and you have enormous opportunity here. Even in research organizations, you can get opportunity of technician or lab attendant as a microbiologist or many such. Even see, आज की डेट में हमारे यहाँ टिश्यू कल्चर बेस्ड जो है प्लांट प्रोडक्ट का या नर्सरी का बहुत ज्यादा प्रचलन हो गया है। बहुत सी नर्सरीज में अगर आप जाते हैं प्लांट्स खरीदने के लिए, ऑर्नामेंटल प्लांट्स, तो आपको टिश्यू कल्चर मेडिएटेड अच्छे प्लांट्स मिलते हैं। और हमारे देश में एक बहुत बड़ी समस्या है कि ये सारे प्लांट्स अभी कुछ लिमिटेड एरिया से डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन में जा रहे हैं, मार्केटिंग में जा रहे हैं। इसको लेकर के कर्नाटक गवर्नमेंट, महाराष्ट्र ने और साथ में हमारे यूपी ने बहुत अच्छा इनिशिएटिव लिया था और हम लोगों ने कर्नाटक गवर्नमेंट के साथ इसको लेकर के काफी अच्छा इनिशिएटिव लिया है और लगभग 3 बैच तो हमने वहाँ के उनके ट्रेन अप कर दिए हैं। इसके अलावा हमारे यूपी के बहुत से इसके बैचेस हमने ट्रेन किए हैं एंड मोस्ट ऑफ दीज आर गॉट absorbed in different commercial nurseries, and surprisingly I have seen many of 5 or 6 they have started their own business. One I have seen in Haldwani area, the guy is earning around say 7 or 8 lakhs per annum by this tissue culture techniques. Next please. दूसरा जो ये सॉइल एंड वाटर टेस्टिंग लैब एनालिस्ट का ये कोर्स है, ये एग्रीकल्चर स्किल काउंसिल ऑफ इंडिया से अप्रूव्ड है और आज की डेट में इसको लेकर सॉइल टेस्टिंग लैब या जो हमारे गाँव में भी सॉइल कार्ड बनता है वहाँ भी इसकी सैंपलिंग करना और डेटा जनरेट करके ला करके इसका डॉक्यूमेंटेशन करना, तो एक स्किल्ड मैन पावर की वहाँ भी जरूरत पड़ती है और फील्ड लेवल पे जाके काम करने के लिए इस तरीके की स्किल्ड मैन पावर की बहुत ज्यादा एसेंशियलिटी है। एज ए साइंटिस्ट, most of us practically is not approaching to the exact fields from where they to take the samples. So for that purpose, this skilled manpower can be utilized for collection, identification, and then analysis of the soil. So इसमें भी आपको जो हमारे भूमि सुधार निगम है वहाँ पे इनकी जरूरत पड़ती है, एग्रीकल्चर डिपार्टमेंट में इनको जरूरत पड़ती है, and the people who are getting trained here are getting opportunity through contextual services in different departments where it is required, even in pollution control board. Next please. जो गार्डनर की मैं बात कर रहा था, ये एक ऐसा पहलू है चूंकि हमारा इंस्टीट्यूट जो नेशनल बोटेनिकल इंस्टीट्यूट है, एक बोटेनिक गार्डन के लिए बहुत ज्यादा फेमस है, और हमसे इस क्षेत्र में हमारे देश में लोगों को बहुत उम्मीदें हैं। अभी रिसेंटली हम लोगों ने महाराष्ट्र में एक चंद्रपुर जगह है जहाँ पे एक बहुत ही खूबसूरत गार्डन स्टैब्लिश किया है। उस गार्डन को स्टैब्लिश करने के लिए हमें खुद को एक बहुत बड़ी समस्या आ रही थी कि हमें अच्छे गार्डनर नहीं मिल रहे थे, और वहाँ के एक्सपीरियंस से हम लोगों ने इस इनिशिएटिव को वहाँ भी शुरू किया और यहाँ अपने यहाँ इंस्टीट्यूट में भी शुरू किया। और अच्छी बात यह है कि पिछले 3-4 सालों में हमारे यहाँ से ट्रेन जो भी मैन पावर है, वो चाहे वो लोकल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के जैसे आपके आवास विकास के होते हैं या अर्बन डेवलपमेंट या हाउसिंग बोर्ड्स हैं, वहाँ भी उनको माली की जरूरत होती है, वो इमीडिएटली एब्जॉर्ब हो जाते हैं। और एक अच्छी बात और यहाँ पे मैं आप सभी से शेयर करना चाहूँगा कि हम बात करते हैं कि वोकल फॉर लोकल, बहुत से ऐसे फील्ड में हमने जाके ऑब्जर्व किया जो बंदे हमारे यहाँ से ट्रेनिंग लिए हैं या जो अभी भी ले रहे हैं, तो इन एंड अराउंड एरियाज जहाँ भी वो रह रहे हैं, खुद की छोटी छोटी नर्सरी स्टैब्लिशमेंट कर रहे हैं। और बहुत अच्छी बात तो ये है कि सिर्फ वो हमारे जो ऑर्नामेंटल्स या कमर्शियल ऑर्नामेंटल्स मिलते हैं, उसके अलावा वो जो लोकल पर्सन उससे भी बहुत अच्छे ऑर्नामेंट करते हैं। ये एक एडवांटेज होता है किसी अच्छे नॉलेज ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के साथ जुड़ करके आपको ट्रेनिंग लेकर के आउट ऑफ बॉक्स थिंकिंग के साथ काम करना, जहां से आपके पास अर्निंग अपॉर्चुनिटी बढ़ जाती है। तो इस क्षेत्र में हम लोगों ने इसमें बहुत सक्सेस ली है। चंद्रपुर गार्डन है, कर्नाटक गवर्नमेंट के साथ हमारा बहुत अच्छा इनिशिएटिव चल रहा है, महाराष्ट्र के साथ तो है ही, मध्य प्रदेश के साथ है। इवन हम लोग दीनदयाल TRI जो एक साइंटिफिक विंग है, वहां पे भी इसका बहुत अच्छा हम लोगों ने प्रैक्टिकल डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन किया है। नेक्स्ट प्लीज। I'll take only 5 minutes, madam. This is another opportunity for bio-inoculant for agriculture application. Here we have a great success even from the government of UP, and I can say now we have covered almost all the districts and areas of UP, and we have enough opportunities in other rural areas of our country where these trained manpower get opportunity for development of bio-inoculants or biofertilizers or many such products. Next please. जो मैं बता रहा था कि आयुष मिनिस्ट्री से एक अप्रूव्ड हमारा प्रोग्राम है। आप सभी को पता है कि क्वालिटी एक बहुत बड़ा इशू है। विपिन जी भी एग्री करेंगे, हमारे प्रोफेसर पद्मश्री प्रोफेसर अनिल जोशी जी भी यहाँ पे उपलब्ध हैं। हम लोग जब हर्बल उत्पाद की बात करते हैं तो सबसे बड़ी समस्या हमारे देश में है कि क्वालिटी कंट्रोल एक बहुत बड़ा पहलू होता है, जिसके लिए गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने डिफरेंट रेगुलेटरी बॉडीज भी बना रखी है। लेकिन यहाँ भी एक बहुत बड़ी समस्या आती है, क्वालिटी एनालिस्ट ही नहीं मिलते हैं। आप किसी भी आयुष इंडस्ट्री में जाएंगे तो एज पर रूल उनके पास होना चाहिए, बट क्वालिटी कंट्रोल एनालिस्ट जो है उनका मिलना ही मुश्किल हो रहा है, क्योंकि उनको सही से कहीं ट्रेनिंग नहीं दी जा रही है। अभी पिछले 2 साल पहले की बात है कि आयुष मिनिस्ट्री ने हमने खुद इनिशिएटिव लेने को कहा, और उनके अपनी जो आयुर्वेदा फैकल्टीज हैं उनको हम लोगों ने कई सालों से ट्रेनिंग दे रखी है इस चीज की। फिर अभी हम लोगों ने जो अंडर ग्रेजुएट्स हैं, स्पेशली फार्मेसी और साइंस और इवन बायोटेक के जो ग्रेजुएट्स हैं, उनके ऊपर फोकस रखा, और इसी कारण से आयुष मिनिस्ट्री ने एक जियो सर्कुलेट किया कि दोज हु आर गेटिंग ट्रेनिंग फ्रॉम CSR NBRI अंडर दिस पर्टिकुलर स्किल डेवलपमेंट इनिशिएटिव आर इमीडिएटली गेट अब्जॉर्प्शन इन आयुष इंडस्ट्रीज। I can circulate that geo also, and I can proudly say that in our last whatever batches we have trained, all get absorbed except 3 who has not interest in going to any industry. They have started their own lab, and one is in Lucknow. They have initiated and now they are running a lot. And मैं इसलिए इसको बोल रहा हूँ कि इसमें बहुत से ऐसे हैं जो रूरल पॉपुलेशन से आते थे उनको सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम ये थी कि उनके पास जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटी नहीं थी। वो बोलते थे साहब हमने बी फार्मा कर लिया या बीएससी कर लिया, हमें कोई पूछता नहीं, क्योंकि लोग कहते हैं कि ग्रेजुएशन करने के बाद आपको कोई जॉब नहीं मिल सकती। और ये एक जो हम लोग ब्रिजिंग की बात करते हैं, सिर्फ टेक्नोलॉजिकल इंटरवेंशन ही नहीं, कभी कभी हमें ब्रिजिंग ऐसे भी करनी होती है कि एक बच्चा उनके गांव का ऐसा अगर निकल सकता है जो बाहर जाकर के ट्रेनिंग लेकर के कहीं एक वेल कनेक्टेड प्लेस पे और किसी इंडस्ट्रियल सेक्टर में जाता है, तो वो अपने पीछे अपने पूरे परिवार ही नहीं, अपने गांव के लिए एक बहुत अच्छा मददगार स्तंभ बनता है। यहाँ पे क्या होता है कि आप जब इस तरह की ट्रेनिंग लेते हैं तो आप सिर्फ इतना ही नहीं करते हैं कि आप अपने जॉब सिक्योरिटी लेते हैं। इसके अलावा आपको जो हम लोग ट्रेनिंग देते हैं उसमें आपको क्वालिटी कंट्रोल के साथ प्लांट आइडेंटिफिकेशन से लेकर के वैल्यू एडिशन तक की अपॉर्चुनिटी देते हैं। मैंने इसलिए इतना डिटेल कि यही एक लोकल बंदा है, ही इज अ सिंपल ग्रेजुएट, he got training, he got an opportunity in one Ayush industry, but at the same time he started his own business of raw drug, and now he's earning a lot. So and he is from a village near to Barabanki. Next please.
Yeah, please conclude, Dr. Srivastava. It is interesting, but please conclude.
Yeah, please. This is advanced training module. Just skip it. I think not essential here. Please. Next please. ये भी हमारा जीएसडीपी का एक प्रोग्राम है जो अप्रूव्ड है। इसमें हमारे यहाँ बच्चे आते हैं और हम लोग प्रेफरेंस देते हैं जो रूरल एरिया से या जो डिफरेंट डिग्री कॉलेजेस के बच्चे हैं, तो डिस्टेंट लोकेशंस के हम उनको स्किल अप करते हैं, जिससे कि उनको एक एजुकेशनल अपॉर्चुनिटी के साथ साथ जॉब सिक्योरिटी के ऑप्शंस मिल सके। नेक्स्ट प्लीज। नेक्स्ट प्लीज। एक ये मैडम बहुत अच्छा अपॉर्चुनिटी है हमारे यहाँ से, ग्रीन बेल्ट डेवलपमेंट फॉर इंडस्ट्रीज। अभी आपको मैं बताऊं, एक यूपी में और एमपी बॉर्डर को जोड़ने के लिए प्रोजेक्ट चलाया है। इवन जो लखनऊ वाराणसी हाईवे बन रहा है उसके मीडियन के लिए दोनों ही जगह के प्रोजेक्ट डायरेक्टर्स ने हमें अप्रोच किया है NHI ऑफिशियल्स की तरफ से। इनकी ग्रीन जो बेल्ट है उसको हम लोग डेवलप करेंगे और मीडियन को जो है, जो ब्यूटिफाइड मीडियम्स उनके मीडियंस होते हैं, उसको हम लोग एस्टैब्लिश करेंगे। मैन पावर की क्राइसिस को देखते हुए हम लोगों ने खुद की इस तरह की ट्रेनिंग इनिशिएट की और इन्हीं से हम वो काम करा भी रहे हैं। अभी इसमें हम लोगों ने इंस्टीट्यूशनल टाई अप नहीं किया है NHI से, बट वी आर प्रोवाइडिंग दिस मैन पावर टू NHI or NHI supported agencies, those who are doing this kind of job, so that not only we are providing kind of technological or technical backup to them, but as well as the confidence in the local people who are in and around that project, who can get opportunity of training from our institution and getting absorbed in their own areas. Next please. ये बहुत छोटे छोटे हमारे प्रोग्राम हैं जिसमें हमारी महिलाएं, माताएं, बहनें जो भी हमारे होती हैं उस तरीके की होम गार्डनिंग में यहाँ इन्वॉल्व होती हैं। यहाँ पे हमारे पास मीडिया पार्टनर्स बहुत हैं, टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया ग्रुप है, दैनिक जागरण ग्रुप है, जो हमारे साथ मिलके काम करता है। और इसके लिए हम कोई पैसे नहीं लेते हैं, चार्ज नहीं करते हैं इनसे। एक नॉमिनल एक एंट्री फी उनकी होती है और एक पार्टिसिपेटरी अप्रोच होता है, जो कि मीडिया भी इन्वॉल्व होता है और डिफरेंट लोकल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के भी इन्वॉल्वमेंट होते हैं, जैसे LDA है या आवास विकास परिषद है। डिफरेंट कॉलोनीज के लोग इसमें पार्टिसिपेट करते हैं, होम गार्डनिंग में ट्रेनिंग लेते हैं और सिर्फ अपने घर के डेकोरेशन ही नहीं, वो खुद की अपनी अर्निंग भी से इसमें अपॉर्चुनिटी उनको मिलती है। नर्सरी मैनेजमेंट एक बहुत इशू है। या आई विल जस्ट टेक ओनली 2 minutes. Okay, so these are the opportunities.
No. Sorry to interrupt you, Dr. Srivastava.
Yes, please. Just a moment. Can you please?
Yeah, because other sessions get disturbed, Dr. Srivastava. It is
Okay, fine. So
sorry.
this I'll keep the last slide. This is another program which we are working on last more than 20 years, and this was supported from DST. This is one of the best success story what I personally feel in last 23 years of our institutional working, that this kind of program must be taken up. And for this particular program, we have TriFed, MSME, and many other agencies are involved. And people are getting trained and they are working on production of this dehydrated floral craft, greeting cards and even mementos and lot that. So this kind of unique programs by which they can get kind of Atmavishwas or Atmanirbharta for their own Swavalambhan. Next, please. So next, thank you so much. I'm sorry I've taken a bit more time, but
I understand. I understand. Yeah. Maybe I
as a
would
whole,
request you.
we are ready to yeah, please. Sorry. Yeah, please.
Yeah,
carry on,
yeah.
madam.
So, no, just I'll just tell one thing, because a lot of things are you have shared. They are very interesting for livelihood and other MSME Spurti cluster also. So, may I request you to put your this interesting thing as a one pager and mail it to me?
Yeah, sure, definitely, definitely.
Yeah,
And if
yeah.
you
So that if any, we are working out some mechanism for Spurti clusters also with the help of DST, PSA office, and MSME, as it was shared by JS Sudhir Gargji. So where such kind of a thing, if you feel, we can also try to represent this technology. Thank you so
sure.
much. So
Thank you.
yeah, and please share your contact details and other contact address in the chat box, so that people can directly contact you, though it is there on your presentation, but still I would request.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, so before ending this session, though it is a very interesting session also, I would like to ask some two just questions we will take before we conclude this session. And remaining questions can be taken up by other people when the last session is over of the panel discussion, and the question answers. Other questions can be taken up. So two questions are there. One is from Dr. Datta itself for Dr. Shaktivel, that how DST can collaborate for this RTP demonstration. How can we make a mechanism, how we can do it? That is the question. And also one more question was there by Dr. Indu Puri to Dr. Shaktivel, that similarly they are also carrying out that women technology path, and the issue is of self-sustainability. Many of the technologies, they may not be sustainable for a long run or help. So would like to hear some quick comments from you, Dr. Shaktivel.
Madam, I think Dr. Datta, it's an important thing that the Rural Technology Park, we have an infrastructure and maybe a formal collaboration with R&D labs, which wants to demonstrate technologies here, and also a facility that needs to be created for that purpose. We are looking at housing this as a live demonstration park where people can come. Whoever is coming will be able to showcase this technology, so that apart from digitally we can show, but actually demonstrating it live has a lot of potential. That is our experience, and especially in fact, like PSS office.
Maybe then the things can be worked out later on at the back end. Let us not take time.
Yes, that is
by Dr. Uma Malik, that you need to also say about the rural products, how you can market them through hearts and other things, and using your infrastructure SIRD and so. So maybe you would like to say.
I think the other question is the sustainability. I think Dr. Puri raised the issue of sustainability. I think we have this flexibility coming from roping in entrepreneurs who promote a technology, and once the technology is matured and we don't find value, we phase out, and a new technology backed solution is brought in. So that's how it can be a dynamic approach in managing sustainably well. Yeah, that is one. And the other thing is, of course, marketing is a big issue, and we can really look at how SIRDs also, once they have the tech park in place, probably, or some initiative right now also can be done if there is a an organized window to carry on that work. Probably we can think of that, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
And thank you. One question from Dr. Datta is for Dr. Vipin Kumar, that really this pandemic has really allowed us to collaborate, I would say. For that reason, we should thank pandemic, but otherwise, no. And he has asked, Dr. Datta has asked you, Dr. Vipin Kumar, about how this NIF, beautiful technologies, and DST, how we can work out some mechanisms. So you can just shortly say something, and we can work out later on.
Yeah. Dr. Ketki Bapat, in fact, I would like to mention, Dr. Datta, what you said, in fact, it was a question, in fact, from my side also to you. As we are the complementary of each other, in fact, you do have the large network, you have large number of supported organizations, and many of them are doing wonderful work, actually. I have visited to them, personally, and we have large number of technologies. So this collaboration will help in diffusion of innovations in many ways, poverty alleviation, drudgery reduction, efficiency enhancement in farming system, and generate livelihood options for many. I think together, with the STI intervention, in situ incubation and local innovations and distributed arrangement for supply chain management can be, achieved. So, Dr. Datta, let us discuss it in detail. In fact,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so before concluding, really this is overwhelming technologies, and it again tells us to really work it very integrative manner for nation's benefit. So I also look forward for your overwhelming response. How our viewers are also giving for this web clinic series. Maybe we can have our bonding little stronger, not the coordination bond, but the little stronger bond. So I end this session over here, and I thank our speakers and the viewers for a very interesting session. Now I will hand over to Dr. Rashmi Sharma for the next session, where we will be hearing from panelists and their journey for the benefit of all the people. So I will invite Dr. Rashmi Sharma to take over. Thank you all again.
Thank you, ma'am. Namaskar to all the participants, and thank to all the lead speakers to give the broad perspective and apprise all the participants how the people at community level could become self-reliant by giving them the insights about the skill development opportunities and the framework of Rural Technology Park, and why they should be encouraged to do the frugal innovations. So now taking the session forward, I would now request Dr. S.S. Kohli, who is Scientist G and Head of R&D Infrastructure Division at DST, to present his views about standardization and certification of locally appropriate technologies. He has initiated a new program called SATHI, which is shared professionally managed S&T infrastructure facility for academia, startups, manufacturing and industries, and R&D labs. So he will be talking about SATHI also. So over to Dr. Kohli. Hello. May I request Dr. Kohli to...
Thank you, Dr. Rashmi. Is I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. And I would like to thank Dr. Devpriya Datta also for organizing such a good program or event where we all can meet. This is the important thing which we are missing in our system, in our DST, where a lot of facilities are available to use them. And my other colleagues have been sharing a lot of information. Now I would like to share with you the facilities which are available to all, which are the government facilities they can be used. First of all, this is a standardization and certification of the locally technologies, appropriate technology is very important, and it should not be ignored any time, because then you have to be competitive at the local level and the national level also. Today, this is the minimum requirement. For this, we need some equipment, some infrastructure in the country. And from the DST side, we have got basically 3 major schemes. One is FIST. FIST, I would like to speak more, because when we were discussing internally last month, some important decisions have been taken for the FIST. What is basically FIST? FIST is a program where R&D infrastructure is created in various departments and colleges at the national level. Today, we have got about 2,500 departments and colleges spread all over the country. And average cost of support to each department is about 1 crore rupees, 1.09 crores. And till now, in last 20 years, 2,650 crore rupees has been dispersed under the FIST program. This is a big program. This is a big facility. Wherever a person locally is there, he will find some college or university where our fish sport is there. That information I will share in one of the slides. Where are the presently we have got the department supported there. Another is a program we called it a PERS. PERS scheme is for the university level, where in a particular university we have created R&D infrastructure facilities. Today we have got about 45 PERS university sport going on. And another third scheme was the SAF. This SAF scheme is going from 1973 onwards, 74. And the first SAF was established in IIT Chennai, followed by IIT Bombay, ISTI Bangalore. And then after that, today we have got 15 active SAF programs, where R&D characterization facilities are available at a regional level also. First one was the departmental level, university level, and regional level. Next slide, please. And recently, in last 2 years, we have come up with a very innovative scheme. We called it SATI. Basically, that is Sophisticated Analytical and Technical Help Institute. Here, those facilities will be available to you on payment. Obviously, all these schemes I'm talking about, it will be having a payment of nominal payment, which will be taking care of consumables, contingencies. Because equipment and all is taken care by the host institute and the DST. SATI is basically those facilities where a high-end facility we are creating, which are very expensive, and we are creating those facilities for national level. I can give you a small hint. Suppose you want to have a facility which is costing about 5 to 10 crore rupees, and its utilization is hardly 4 to 5% or 10% to you. You can go and use this facility, pay for it. And along with that, there is another word which is very important I would like to share with you in the SATI is H. H stands for help. They will do the analysis for you. They will do the characterization along with analysis and interpretation of data. That interpretation of data is a technical job which will be more useful to you when you are trying to interpret your data, analyze your product, and technically evaluate it and compare it with the other competitors. This is SATI, and this is all shared facilities, and it has been made mandatory. Important for this is that host institute can use only 20% of the facility time. 80% is time is available for outsider the host institute. That means when you approach them, they will be welcoming you because they need people like you to use these facilities. And Government of India is planning to give them and has already started about a year and back to 125 crore to each host institute spread over 3 years of duration. Until now, we have got in 1.5 years, we have supported only 3 institutes, and another 4 to 5 institutes we will be adding every year. This is the national facilities. They are different than this because this will be a high-end facilities costing about more than 4 to 5 crores or 10 crores. They can go even 40 crores. There is some equipment which is costing about 45 crores also, like the 3D printing and all. Next, please. This gives a basically idea of the SATI program, and the same has been reflected in all of the schemes of the R&D infrastructure starting from phase. Basically, this will have the facilities for fabrication work, rapid prototyping, material testing, characterization to support institutes and institute R&D activities. This is the things which you will be requiring. And prototyping, they will be having a technical trained manpower for your fabrication work and prototype development also. Organize workshops so that for dissemination of this equipment availability, they will be organizing workshops. Each institute, we are pressurizing them to organize at least 2 workshops in a financial year. Product training and techniques and maintenance and operation of instruments is the important thing. And basically then is a monitoring and uses of the expensive equipment. I will just like to share one of the important thing is all this equipment, there is one database available. You can log in, you can block your time. That is ISTI Portal, where all the R&D infrastructure facilities of the FIST, PERS, SAF, SATI is available under one platform. Along with it, if there is another facility which has been created by CSIR, DBT, Ministry of External Affairs, or any other ministry, government funded ministry, they are trying to put it under one portal also. This portal is managed and maintained by ISTI Bangalore. Next slide, please. Now, I was talking about the FIST, which has got about 2,650 departments spread over 2,500 departments spread over last 20 years, and this is the places where we have been sporting. Like, you will in the outside the bracket, we give the distribution in a particular state, number of universities supported. Inside the bracket is number of departments supported, and along with slash, like in Delhi. And if you go to Uttaranchal, 68 universities in Uttaranchal are supported, 68 departments are supported, and 3 colleges are fully supported under FIST program. When you approach one of any of this institute, department, and college, they will be able to provide you any facility which they are having. You have got a first right to use it after 8 hours, because they were requesting that students should be given some time. One shift is available for students, second and third shift is available for anyone who pays for it, nominal charges, and use this facility. This is about the FIST spread in the country. Now, next slide, please. Similarly, we have got a PERS program, and this shows landscape of PERS supported in the country. Today, we have got about 25 universities which are ongoing PERS support is there, and some of them we have already completed, but the institute equipments and infrastructure is already created, and now it is maintained by the university alone. And in this financial year, again, we are planning to support at least 5 to 6 more universities. That is, the objective is we will be adding at least 5 to 6 universities per year. Next slide, please. This is for the SAF centers. This is a SAF program. Today we have got 15 SAF programs. Under the SAF, the facilities created are bigger and more than the PERS and the FIST in single place. In single university, single place. This is mandatory for SAF to run, that all the facilities has to be in one building. Today we have got 15 SAFs which are spread over starting from Delhi, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, Gujarat, Maharashtra, and our objective is to cover all the states of the country so that these facilities are available in them. Next slide, please. And this just gives an idea about the facilities under the SAF scheme we have created. We have created presently 3 ongoing SAFs are there. One is at University BHU Varanasi. Now this gives the glimpses of the building of the SAF center. This whole building is dedicated for analytical equipment for the use by the industry, startups, local manufacturers, and all. And 80% of time of this facility is available to outsiders. Now, next slide, please. This gives the glimpses of IIT Delhi SAF facility. This has been created under Sonipat. This IIT extension counter at Sonipat, and there is a big building. And this whole building is having R&D equipments which are funded by DST in the tune of 125 crores, plus Department of Electronics has given, Department of Industries has given some. There, I can roughly say about 300 to 400 crores facilities are existing presently today, and 200 crores facilities will be more added in IIT Delhi Center, Extension Center. And this slide gives you an idea about IIT Kharagpur. You will notice that this all facilities are spread all over the country of the Sathi Center. Here we are going to put up 125 crores from DST sites equipment, analytical equipment. Now, how the selection of equipments are there? That is an important thing in these centers. We request each center to approach nearby industries, conduct industrial meet, conduct interaction meets with the startups and users, and whatever equipment they are asking, DST will be supporting that equipment only. Now, what advantages you will get out of using this facilities? Number one, with the nominal charges, you can use this facility. Number two, you are not supposed to require and maintain this facility because there is a dedicated staff to maintain it. Number three, interpretation of data. And number four, that's the last and not the least one, which I will say, you will develop an ecosystem to interact with the academic institute. This is a good model when you are going to use this facility to have a partnership with industry, academia. You can use the knowledge of academia. And this one slide I'm just sharing with you gives the type of the domain industries or users which are coming under my SAF and SACHI scheme, and what are the common analytical instruments we have purchased till today, which are already existing, and what are the industry specific analytical instruments which you can use for, like, for manufacturing, 3D printing and prototype development and all. And for agriculture, tractor load trailers and this is for the, like, the agriculture. If we talk about agriculture equipment, what are the different equipments, and we have got a dedicated center coming in IIT Kharagpur for that. As you all know, only IIT Kharagpur among all the IITs having agriculture engineering. Next slide, please. This is the equipment which are being major equipment, costing about, some of the equipment is costing 30 crores, some are costing more than 3 to 4 crores, which we are going to install in by the end of December in BHU Varanasi. I'm just sharing this in what is the presently latest information going on. This is the equipment which we will be having installed in BHU Varanasi. Next, please. Next slide, please. Similarly, this slide gives you the idea about what are the major equipment and facilities we are going to install at IIT Delhi Extension Center. And these are the expensive facilities, and which have got a dedicated manpower, like 300 kV cryo-TEM. The cost of the cryo-TEM is about 45 to 55 crores. Including other miscellaneous attachments and all, it goes out to 55 crores. And maintaining and running the equipments is a bit critical, and the small industries, startups, innovators can come and use this facility for their product development. Next slide. This is the facilities which I was talking about, that they have got very excellent facility which they're going to install, which is not given here, on precision farming, also precision conservative farm machinery, because my previous spokespersons were talking about agriculture, biology, farm machinery, farm development, analytical, and that precision farming, appropriate in the agriculture, giving appropriate inputs at appropriate time is the important thing for increasing the efficiency and output of the farms. They will be having some of the equipments at IIT Kharagpur also, along with these 3 major equipments. Next slide, please. Now, what are the major objectives which we are talking about? I'm mentioning about Sathi. Same objective behind our mind is there for the FIST, SAF, and PER scheme also. And we want that each center, mind center, should work for 24 hours, 3 shifts, to 7 days for this thing, and its utilization of equipment should be proper and maximum, because it has been observed in the university that those equipments which are coming from the government funded are put in one corner, and one person or one group of people will have the control over it. Now we want to decentralize it. We want to advertise in the website, portals, and in the meetings like this one which we are talking about, so that you have got a full access to use them, those facilities and those manpower which is available in these facilities. Next slide. Last. That's all. And basically now the important comes in the standardization and certification of your product development, new technologies, what you are talking about. That is the important thing. And please take the help of all the facilities available, and at the very nominal cost. If you face any problem, please let us know at DST. We will be definitely like to help out. And if you've got some specific requirement, approach to the nearby SAF center or Sathi center. They will be happy to take your particular specific requirements for the analytical equipment and forward to DST, because they are the people who are going to host that facility and support that facility and give the space and running cost for that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for giving the overview of R&D infrastructure created by DST across the country. I hope that all the participants will avail these facilities for their R&D work and for their services provided by these labs. To take it forward, sir, we have questions for you. So I'll take the questions in the end. And to take the web clinic forward, I will invite Dr. P.S. Acharya, who is Chief Executive Officer, National Special Data Infrastructure, He will be speaking about spatial enablement of the society at the local level. To Dr. Acharya, please. Sir, you have 10 minutes for your presentation, sir.
I will try to remain within 10 minutes. Thank you,
Yes,
Dr.
thank
Sharma. I'm really thankful to the C division and Dr. Datta for giving this opportunity from NSDI somebody to speak, which is basically about spatial data infrastructure. And I also compliment the C division for identifying this particular technology, that is the geospatial technology that I'm going to talk about. Geospatial technology, the due importance in this web clinic series that is going to establish the bridge between the science and society. The science I'm going to talk about is geospatial science or spatial science or geoinformation science. That is what we are handling in NSDI, National Spatial Data Infrastructure, and the society on the other side. And I would like to give a bit of introduction how the society is going to be benefited in the context of geoinformation science or geospatial science or spatial science. I think all of us are aware that society is governed by a multi-tier system of institutions. At the national level, it is the parliament. At the state level, it is the assembly, the state assembly, or the legislative councils. But at the local level, we are having the institutions of local self-governance. Thus, the society can make use of the benefit of the geoinformation science or the geospatial science in governing itself. If we look at some of the legislations, those have been brought in to facilitate the operation of institutions of self-governance. That is basically at the district level, the Jilla Panchayat. At the block or taluk level, it is called the taluk panchayat, and at the village level, it is called gram panchayat. In fact, these are the institutions at the panchayati, as a part of the Panchayati Raj institution framework. That is the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act that brought in. Thus, please take over to the next slide. Thus, that 73rd constitutional amendment, that is the Panchayati Raj institution mandate that was given in the constitution. And there are different sectors in the 11th schedule of the constitution, and we are giving some of the sectors here where the society is to get the benefit of governmental schemes, and that benefit has to be drawn by using some technologies, and geoinformation science and technology is one such technology the society can make use of. Thus, that is the bridge I am trying to refer. And on the Atmanirbhar side, because this is Science Society Setu for Atmanirbhar Bharat. Thus, in Atmanirbhar Bharat context, I would like to tell that all of us are using the maps or data sets from abroad. In fact, many of us are aware how to make use of Google Maps. Google Maps, if we think of using in the context of Panchayati Raj institutions in the 73rd Amendment, we may not find it adequate. Maybe technology-wise, it delivers the same thing, but content-wise, I think we need higher, more details or higher resolution information. Thus, that is what I think. In order to be Atmanirbhar or self-reliant in terms of geospatial technology, we have to look at the problem in two ways. One is we have to develop our own technologies, geospatial technologies, on which DST and other agencies of the governments are working. And similarly, on the application of technologies, how do we apply? That's what I am heading towards, the issues where both the sides, the science side and the society side can come together and can work together. Thus, I'll now come back to this Panchayati Raj institution. These are some of the sectors: agriculture, land improvement, minor irrigation, road, public distribution system. In fact, these are some of the 29 sectors which have been defined in the 11th schedule of the Constitution, where geospatial science could be made use of. I have highlighted this women and child development. That is one sector where Bankura district, that is Bankura Jilla Panchayat, has made use of a particular map. That is the next slide. Please go over to the next slide, please. This is about the women and child development, where Anganwadi centers are set up in a district to facilitate the health of women and children. Thus, in that administration of Anganwadi centers at district level or levels below, there are certain data sets needed. What are those data sets? Those are MOSA boundaries. Here we have given in this slide the list of data sets. And then from those data sets, some of the outputs are to be prepared by processing these data sets. That is the optimal identification of location for setting up of new Anganwadi centers, determining unserved areas or uncovered areas under the Anganwadi centers. Then villages which are far away from Anganwadi centers. In this way, there are different information needed for the administration of Anganwadi centers or making use of the Anganwadi centers by the beneficiaries. Thus, the next slide, please. The next slide gives a sample map for Bankura district. This is for a block of Gangajal Ghati in Bankura, and you can see there is a circle there. In fact, that is the village which is not covered by the Anganwadi centers. There are many Anganwadi centers which are catering to beneficiaries around 1 kilometer of that particular center. Thus, you can see the yellow areas. Thus, those yellow areas are covered. The beneficiaries of the villagers in those areas are covered by the Anganwadi centers located at the center of that particular circle or that yellow area. But some of the areas are not covered. That is possible because of the map. That is possible to see because of the map. Thus, how to prepare this map or add information to this map and how to provide solutions. In fact, that's the area where I think both science and society sides can come together. Next slide, please. Similarly, as in case of the Anganwadi centers, there is one more application in Karnataka. This is from Udupi district of Karnataka, where there was an issue of environment. The stone crossers were required to be relocated because of a court decision. Thus, the district collector wrote to the center, the district GIS center at Udupi Jilla Panchayat Chief Executive Officer's office, where a map of this type was prepared to demarcate area where the stone crossers could be shifted. Because as you know, those stone crossers create pollution and then may affect respiratory system, respiratory problems. Thus, this is one application of geospatial technology in a different state. Next slide, please. The application is also possible in urban areas. In fact, this is the 74th constitutional amendment, that is urban local body formation, and then a set of 44 items has been earmarked in the 12th schedule of the Constitution: urban planning, regulation of land use, water supply, public health. In this way, there are 44 areas. And in the public health side, you can see in the case of Delhi, next slide, please. In case of Delhi, which is a national capital territory of Delhi, and here how COVID-19 is managed. If you look at it, is not possible to read through the different geospatial data that is listed on the right side, but I would like to tell you that location of a COVID patient, location of a COVID center, location of COVID treating hospital, all those have been shown there, but the red dots, which you see, the red pins, are basically the location of the COVID patients in different parts of Delhi. And this is coming from the Delhi Geospatial Data Infrastructure, or the Delhi Geo Portal. Delhi Geo Portal has been set up as a part of the BST initiative of the NSDI, National Special Data Infrastructure. And then this is how the urban government of Delhi, the NCT of Delhi, can make use of. And then people need to know the location of a patient, location of a patient in a home isolation or kind of thing. Thus, that data needs to be fed in to the system so that all sides, society side and the governance side or the science side, can benefit. Next slide, please. Thus, this is a map of Delhi. You know, the details, those are visible. You can see the flats. This is near Andrewsganj. The flats, location of flats are visible. The roads are visible. Thus, these kind of maps are prepared as foundation data by Survey of India or other agencies. But the application data, like the location of patient data, has to be fed in by an agency or by some societal effort. You know, how that data is to be uploaded through social media or by other means. Those are to be exploited or are to be handled in these collaborative opportunities. Next slide, please. Thus, in this way, these are the possible mandates which are available, and you can see this is our Honorable Prime Minister's statement, who said in 2017 Science Congress that we need to develop and deploy geoinformation systems to meet the development goals of our citizens, gram panchayats, districts, and states, and a coordinated effort by different agencies like SOI, ISRO, and MEITI can be transformative. Thus, in that direction, next slide, please. Activities have been started, have been launched, and then there is a need for coordination. Next slide. Thus, how to coordinate all these? In fact, all these data sets should be available. Next slide, please. In all these data sets should be available as a part of a central catalog, which NSDI calls National Data Registry. Thus, the next slide talks of the National Data Registry accessible through a geoportal. This is the NSDI geoportal. You can take note of the URL, nsdiclearinghouse.gov.in. Next slide, please. Similarly, the National Data Registry I mentioned of is there in the next slide. Next slide, please. You can see in this slide, this is an important slide which one can access, and you can get here. It may not be possible to read through everything, but here there are now, through this single window access, there is portal. There are portals available from different agencies here: ISRO portal, Survey of India portal, Water Resources Ministry portal, and there is one National Data Registry portal. On the right side, you can see in the circle the state geo portals. Different state governments, some 15 state governments have already set up their portals. 10 have already operationalized. You can access all those, and 3-4 states are already in the process of setting up the portals. Thus, as the representatives of different agencies, you can access the data sets. In fact, that is the element of Atmanirbhar. Look at Google, nobody prevents that, but also look at these portals which provide the data sets from the agencies those are compiling or acquiring. Next slide, please. Thus, when you get into the details of data registry, you can see in the first part, you can see the catalog, the complete list of data sets coming from different organizations. And those organizations are connected in the behind. It is a distributed or decentralized mode of operation. You can see on the left side, the blue buttons are different agency databases. And those agency databases, when they are updated, the catalog, central catalog gets updated. Next slide, please. Thus, in this way, you can get access to the URL, and then we can combine data sets from different agencies. Here we are showing combination of data from Survey of India, which is located in Dehradun, and the Karnataka government, that is located in Karnataka State Council of Science and Technology. The village cadastral data sets are shown here along with Survey of India data. Next slide, please. These are some of the outputs by combining data sets. Like here we are going to show, or we are showing the location of the highways in different plots or adjacent to plots. You might have seen sometimes highways are constructed and plots are acquired. Thus, this kind of an application, by combining data from two different agencies or multiple agencies is possible. Next, please. These are the plots, 3 plots showing a particular segments, a particular set of segments of roads of South India. That's what we are showing here. Thus, the access, as we showed in the previous slide, ndr.nsti.gov.in, that you can access, but for accessing data, you need to have username password, for which you need to write to NSTI. Next, please. Thus, this is on the data side, like here for Karnataka also, you can see the village from Google, and you can combine data from the Indian agencies, and you can frame plans. Panchayats at village level, at taluk level can frame plans. You can see here the plot boundaries and different vegetations or crops grown there. Next slide, please. Thus, in this way, there are certain examples. These are the plot bounds from Karnataka, because Karnataka state government has shared its data sets through this portal mechanism. Next, please. Thus, these are the Karnataka data sets, and this is about beneficiaries in the watershed projects coming from the state government's offices, and then you can find out who are the beneficiaries in watershed projects. But updation of data is a challenge. Thus, how the society or the agencies working at local level can be enabled to support the process of governance at the institution level or the local level. That is what the topic we are trying to discuss today. Next, please. Thus, the next one is similarly for Uttarakhand. For Uttarakhand, there is a geo portal. Next, please. Just quickly, we can go through, and the last slide is important. Yes, here there was an experiment with a local institution which tried to bring in data sets from Patharkot village in Almora district. In Almora district, Almora block, that pink polygon, and inside that, this Patharkot village has been shown with the cadastral boundaries. You can see the yellow areas. Next slide, please. Some zooming in can be done there, and yeah, these are the plot boundaries you can see. Next slide, please. Thus, in those plots, people discuss with the local panchayat functionaries and beneficiaries. And here there is a meeting taking place in Patharkot and some other villages which were covered under this project of NRDMS, and people are discussing using a map. Thus, that map preparation and updation of map can be done with the help of the local institutions, and that requires the enablement of the society at the local level with the help of geospatial technologies. Next, please. And this is the output of that discussion. Natural resources. NR is natural resources map on the left side, and the planning map on the right side. Who needs what. The local aspiration of people is required to be captured. Who needs what facility, what benefit. All those are to be put into the form of a map, and then can be brought out as a vision for that area development, local area development. 5 years, 3 years, and a map could be prepared and discussed and shared. And this is the context where we need the enablement and the participation of local people with the help of local technical institutions. Next, please. And similarly for urban areas, using the drones, maps are getting prepared by South India, and NSTI is preparing or developing a technology to update those maps. How to update Varanasi city map. That is what is the map shown here after the updation. Next, please. The 3D map is also getting ready. This is a drone captured image of Varanasi city, and from this map, the data sets would be prepared and would be stored for sharing with the local people. But important is the local institutions should be able to add the thematic information to this foundation, the base, so that we can take decisions, governments can take decisions, and people can participate. Thus, in summary, the last slide brings out, next slide, please. Thus, these are the areas where possibly collaborations can take place through the understanding in NSDI, NRDMS, and SEED division. Can the stakeholder groups be identified and their aspirations be identified? What problems required to be addressed by geospatial technologies or can be served as services. That could be one area of work, because locally it can't be done by any other agency but by the local organizations. And next one is contributing to the development and updation of the data sets. As I mentioned, the foundation data is going to be commonly used by all, but COVID-19 patient availability, that is what is to be added. Then providing innovative solutions in addressing the local area problems and the conflicting issues. See here, conflicting issue, stubble burning. Stubble burning is a requirement for farmers, but it is a problem for the city dwellers. Thus, this is a conflicting issue. Thus, the geospatial information technology can be harnessed in identifying those issues and addressing those issues. That is the third point. Innovative solutions are required based on the information that we are generating, maintaining, updating. And then the last one is the technical capacity building. In fact, different institutions are to be enabled with the help of technologies. Thus, this is that real setu that we need to establish so that the geospatial technology can be adequately leveraged by the society and becoming self-reliant. Thank you. Probably I spilled over a bit beyond my time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving the insights how the society can use geospatial technology for their benefit, and giving the relevant examples in today's context, like how it can be used in the COVID-19 situation, and for the development of WCD. You have given a very good example of Bankura district, and about the stone crushers, how the infrastructure shifted to another place. So geospatial technologies has a lot of potential to be utilized, to be absorbed by the community. We have been emphasizing the state S&T councils to build their own special infrastructure, and because only few councils are able to develop their own geospatial infrastructure, and some of the councils are very weak in this aspect. So we are encouraging them to develop their own special infrastructure also. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Now we have the next speaker, who is the program director at Principal Scientific Advisors Office, and is responsible for promoting scientific R&D and innovations. She has been able to develop digital platform to transform agriculture in India called Kisan Mitra. So I would like to invite Dr. Sapna Poti, who will be talking about strategic partnership in social development. To Dr. Sapna Poti.
Thank you, Dr. Datta. Thank you, Dr. Rashmi, for this invitation. It's been quite a pleasure listening to all the presentations so far. My idea was to actually just come in and do my presentation and move out, but I think it was so interesting that I kept staying back. So today's topic that I would like to talk about is how industry's role and along with academia, how we play a role with science, technology, and innovation for social development. Next slide. So basically, why should industry be involved in academia and research engagements, and especially linked with social development? Largely because we get a lot of untied funds. Today, CSR is also part of the story. So R&D as well as CSR funds are made available. Startup funds are available, and so on from the industry. So a lot of untied funds, along with the fact that we also get knowledge and certain deliverables from these industries, which is very important because we need to focus on outcome-based social development through technologies. From the Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor, the PSC himself has been very, very keen about this, and very deeply engaged with the industry to work on some of these areas. Currently, we are working on about 125 such R&D and innovation projects, largely around agriculture, electric vehicles, with environment-related energy efficiency, defense, waste management, WASH, and so on. So the whole idea is first to garner technologies from different academic institutes and research institutes. They could be all IITs, NITs, Indian Institute of Science, ISTIs, CSIRs, about 8 research parks. We also involve Atal incubation centers, AGNI, which again comes under the principal scientific advisor himself, and so on. This is where we get the supply of technologies for social development, and the demand comes from either the industry or from the proof of concept that we need to undertake on the ground. The collaborations support that we have are of different nature. One is a simple R&D and innovation project, or it could be a center of excellence. I heard a lot about Sathi, so something similar to that, but not to that large scale because of the fact that the industry funding is much lesser than the government funding. However, what they bring onto the table is not only funds for center of excellence, but they also give technical expertise. They provide the equipments in some cases and the knowledge and so on. And of course, the good intention of doing something in social development space. Also funding innovation solutions, for social development. It could be technologies for, say, agriculture, or funding technologies which are related to WASH, and also undertaking the proof of concept. So not only industry, we also work with foundations as well as with different philanthropic organizations globally. Next, please. So the last about 8 to 10 months, we've been working aggressively on these areas, and we have got a lot of industry partnerships in this case. COVID was a beginning, and the first 3 months actually went on COVID-related innovations. But however, post which we started a whole movement called Kisan Mitra. I'll talk about it slightly later. And so that touched upon agriculture in a big way. Water, sanitation, and hygiene, we have tied up with Toilet Board Coalition, which also has members like Unilever, Gates, NTPC, etc. We've working with USAID. We're working with a lot of UN organizations on WASH. In terms of health, of course, right from COVID onwards, we've been being funded by a lot of industries as well as foundations. We've developed reagents and so on. And then we have, of course, differently abled and assistive technologies. Today, we've been working on differently abled, technologies, which includes standing wheelchairs, which includes digital platforms for employment and so on. So if you see on the right-hand side, we have literally every kind of organization working with us, Indian organizations, public sector units, global foundations, and as well as multilaterals and so on. So the whole idea, and I was very excited when Dr. Rashmi mentioned that, let's work together on this entire space. I was very excited because of the fact that the large elephant in this whole room, which was missing, was the government. So it will be really nice to work with DST on some of these projects, especially to take it post proof of concept, because the scaling up needs to be done, and also to take support of co-funding on centers of excellence, so that we ensure that the academic institutes and research institutes deliver the promise, and which we jointly agree upon, and also so that we can scale up the operations with a very focused key result areas and outcome. Next, please. So during COVID, we did only did they give us technical expertise, they also funded some of these projects. So the deliverables were pretty clear. We had testing kits coming out of this. We had some reagents which were developed, because otherwise we have been importing reagents. We have PPEs, masks of a particular quality. And of course, we had mobile diagnostic labs and disinfectants and so on. companies like Dell, Microsoft, Huawei, Illumina, Capgemini, all the IT companies, and banks like Standard Chartered Bank, Wells Fargo, and so on. And then we had, of course, older companies like Murugappa and Tata Steel and so on, who have in their ethos to work with Kirloskar Group, etc., who have an ethos to work with on social development issues. So we had a very good combination of organizations coming in together during COVID. Next, please. So I'm a strong believer that one needs to focus on deliverables and key result areas and outcome. Otherwise, we are only talking research, we are only talking about innovations, but we are not focusing on what is the end result of this entire exercise. So during COVID, we did quite a few of these projects, RT-PCR, diagnostic kits, ventilators, PPE kits, of course. We also engaged MSME and startups for the component manufacturing of ventilators. We had Cognizant Foundation, which funded about 1.5 lakh face shields, which were manufactured and delivered to a lot of our health workers and traffic police. We had TCS developing the national digital platform for reagents with us. Gates funded the national training program because of the fact that there are a lot of organizations or institutes and labs which did not have COVID trained manpower. So we selected those, and we requested TIFR Hyderabad, IIE Delhi, TIFR Bombay, and Pan IIT to work together in different parts and regions of the country. And with the funding of Gates, we skilled a lot of COVID technicians. In addition, we needed to take care of the rural areas. So mobile diagnostic labs were built, where we had lots of industries like Toyota, Kirloskar, Daimler, Tata Motors coming in and providing their vehicles and chassis. DRDO came up with its design. Indian Institute of Science came up with its own design. And IIT Madras, IIT Guwahati received these labs, would be receiving rather these labs, so that they can engage in testing COVID patients in the rural areas. Find Geneva is an organization which works largely on detection of antigen as well as on diagnostics, etc. So they threw in a challenge for all our startups and MSMEs as well as academic institutes, and we work with them very closely to do the same. Gates Foundation and Rockefeller Foundation funded as close as 4.5 to 5 million USD just for development of reagents in these clusters. So large chunks of money came in at the right moment during the COVID times. And so this is how we could manage the entire development of R&D. Next, please. So while we talked about COVID, post-COVID, we thought we should continue this and see if the industries and foundations would work with us closely on different innovation challenges as well as on social development. And we found to our utter surprise that there were nearly 60% of the projects that we are talking about were not related to COVID, and it was post-COVID. Organizations like railways came up and said that from our innovations from the ecosystem, we could do a smart railway station. So we have provided them quite a lot of data on innovations related to electrification, wash, vendor systems, smart kiosks, so on, for them to handpick whatever they require. And we also, of course, did a lot of innovation challenges for the startups, right from UNDP, UNIDO, and so on, for plastic to waste. BEL has shared a lot of environment-related and defense-related projects with our academic institutes. Tata Chemicals, again, has worked a lot on agriculture innovations and technologies, so that was a challenge thrown to our startups. Almost all the funding came from each of these organizations without a single rupee budget from the PSA's office. So we're very proud of the fact that we didn't have to fund from the government, and we got our partners to fund all of this. We also are working on tuberculosis and with Gates as well as USAID. And so we are right now looking at abstracts of tuberculosis to see how much of the research has been done and what should be in future, in terms of advanced research, so that we could fund that from Gates and USAID. Similarly, we had Cisco, which wants to work a lot on agriculture technology. So we have tied up with Nudge Foundation, and we're looking at the entire program from end to end, right from selection of the challenge from the grassroots farmers, and then to build the technologies, and then to do the proof of concept. And hopefully, Ministry of Agriculture should be able to scale it up. Similarly, we had organizations like Amazon coming up and saying that they would be able to do digital innovations for rural economy involving our startup ecosystem. And several, like I said, differently abled technologies, Social Alpha, America Indian Foundation, AIF, Indigram, and so on, funded some of these challenges. IIM Bangalore wanted to promote women entrepreneurs, so we designed a whole program along with them and took it to the women technologists. NBCC, again, each organization has its own strength. So NBCC has the strength of doing construction, so they have offered to set up a center of excellence at IIT Madras on waste management. And then, of course, we did quite a few special projects because of the fact that we need to ensure that academic institutes, research institutes, startups understand what is industry, how do we deal with the industry, how are they different from us, are there certain timelines, or are there some strict deliverables and outcome that they need with specific period of time. Understanding that this entire spectrum of industries is something very essential. So we brought in Deloitte as well as IIT Madras to do the capacity building of the different faculty members in the 60 institutes that we work with, all IITs, NITs, CSIRs, ISIRs, etc. So that they are also trained to do pitching or soft skilling or preparing robust proposals and so on and so forth. And then, of course, we needed a lot of digital platforms to be able to partner. So we did one for agriculture, which I will talk about, and then now we are working on an industry academia partnership platform, and of course, WASH Technologies platform, which hopefully Gates Foundation will be looking at funding it. Next, please. So, and then we had this whole movement called Kisan Mitra, and why do I call it a movement? It was a zero budget and zero team kind of a project where, I just decided one fine day that we need to do something for the farmers from the science and technology community. So how do we do it? So the first thing we did was we garnered all the technologies which were agriculture related from our ecosystem, and we got some as close as 1,500 to 2,000 technologies. So we created this whole digital platform. There's a trust in Bangalore, which is a private trust of only 3 trustees, which actually funded this digital platform. While we garnered about 20 other technical partners who worked on different aspects of this movement, and they also helped us to take these agricultural technologies to the ground. So we had various suppliers from all the startups as well as academic institutes, but equally we needed to work on the demand. So we got about 60 companies, TAFE, ITC, Tata Chemicals, Rallies, Nagarjuna. You can name the organization, and we brought all of them in as a demand side, and in the same digital platform we give them space. One thing we have noticed is that the demand and supply don't talk to each other unless we go to the demand with the supply in specific terms, make them understand the agriculture technologies, spend a lot of time in engaging them together. So we basically, NASCOM Foundation, IIM Bangalore, as well as National Institute of Agriculture Marketing, which is part of Ministry of Agriculture. All 3 of them came together and have continuously, even today, are taking the agriculture technologies to FPOs, to DMDs, to CSCs, and of course to the incubators and industries. Because these technologies are at different stages. Some of them are at tier 3 stage and need to go up to 9 and field testing. Some of them are market ready and so on. So the spectator or the supply side is completely different for each of these innovations. So a whole range of them participate in these webinars and presentations of real-time agriculture technologies. Post which we thought that the farmers need to see these technologies. How do we do it during COVID? So
No sound. There is no sound now.
No sound now. I think it has got frozen. Rashmi, could you look into it and I think go ahead? Rashmi?
Yes, sir. I'm trying to call her up. Maybe her team member. Just wait.
We are able to hear each other, except the presenter's voice.
Yeah, because no, this is in I think this is from this our with Bhavan, there is some problem like in connection.
Okay.
Sir, it seems the problem is at her and ma'am's end, not with the connectivity, the GoToMeeting platform as such.
Okay, maybe her speaker or microphone has some problem.
There is a connectivity issue.
मैंने आपको एक WhatsApp भेजा है मैंने आपको एक WhatsApp भेजा है भेजा है आपको
You lost your internet connectivity, is it? No, but we can't hear you, ma'am.
I called her office.
Screen is also frozen, ma'am, and we can't hear you. I'm taking shall we take the next presentation and we'll come back to you at the end? Is it okay? Okay, fine. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, thanks. Rashmi, ma'am, ma'am is saying that there's no, she's been able to hear us, so she's requesting us to take the next presentation, and maybe at the end we can give her another time after the thing gets sorted out.
Yeah, I think her presentation was already that was the last slide. So
okay.
We can take the next presentation, yes.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Yeah.
So now we'll move on to the next presenter, which is Dr. Yashwant, who is the Senior Scientist and Head Patent Facilitation Center. He will be talking about unlocking intellectual property right for grassroots Atmanirbharta. I think this is gaining momentum currently because intellectual property right is an important issue. I've seen a video today of a young girl, 14-year-old school-going girl, Vinisha Umashankar, who has designed a solar-powered clothing iron, and she has got a Children Climate Prize 2020 for clean air. So I think this is, we are motivating. We have seen the examples given by Dr. Vipin also. So intellectual property right in current scenario is extremely important. So over to Dr. Yashwant.
So thank you very much, Dr. Rashmi. And I think we have already negative in time, so I'll quickly run through in 5 to 7 minutes.
Sir, you have 10 minutes, yes.
Okay, then fine. Okay, great,
Yes,
great.
yes.
Thank you so much for giving me extra time. Great, Dr. Datta, for creating this opportunity to speak to fellow scientists and the users of a technology on this platform, where today we are talking about Atmanirbharta. And we talk about grassroots. So there's a two-way of thinking about grassroots. One is technologies for the grassroots, people at the grassroots or a bottom of a pyramid, or technologies from them. So both the aspects we look into it when we talk about intellectual property rights. You want to share, or you want me to share? Yeah, please go to the next slide. If rights are given to me, then I can share it differently. Okay, so we had 5 phases of lockdown, and now we are in the 7.0, unlock 7.0, and it has always been a right time to unlock intellectual property rights before the lockdown, during the lockdown, and after the lockdown. So it's a very basic purpose of providing protection of intellectual property rights is to take technology and knowledge to public in lieu of providing limited period monopoly to inventors and creators of a technology. So that's a real deal between society and the creators, real deal between the society and creators. And there has not been a very right time to really explore this deal for the benefit of a society. Always people have advocated to benefit inventors and creators, but I think during the pandemic and post-pandemic time is the time when we really think of maximizing benefit of accumulation of this knowledge in the form of patent documents, in the form of geographical indication application, or all other intellectual property rights, registration, grant, and licensing. So we can only become Atmanirbhar if we are able to utilize technological knowledge which is available in the patent documentation or IP documentation, not only in India, but around the globe, if we are legitimately allowed to make use of the technical knowledge. So it's not always that we invent and only commercialize and use it. I think whatever legally available to us for utilization, we must do that. And this Patent Facilitating Center was set up in 1995 with 4-fold objectives: creating awareness, provide facilitation, and patent information as an input. But that has assumed a very different role after this pandemic of utilizing patent information for the benefit of society. And if we see, next slide, please. There are enough examples in our country of utilizing grassroots knowledge through intellectual property rights for the benefit of the public and even for the keeper of a knowledge. And Jeevani was the example. And IPR is not novel. If we talk and take a clue from Sanjeevani to Corona cure, from Ramayana time to now, and many things comes in between. We talk about chloroquine, remdesivir, Favipiravir, so many things. When we look at these as a potential benefit or potential drugs or a vaccine candidate, or so, what is the first document which we look at? That is a patent document. We look at patent document and analyze them. What are the technical parameters? What are the different embodiment of the invention? What are the different forms of those molecules which are effective? What are the supporting data? So the one-stop shop for that particular information. And I think PSA office and the Department of Science and Technology in various projects are looking at DSIR various projects looking at this patent information analysis and all. So we also are providing these inputs. We prepared reports on kits and various things and sent to relevant agencies and ministries for the use of that particular technical information. So this is a very, very opportune time where we should make use of the technical information in addition to what we nurture our own innovation. Next, please. I can skip this particular slide. This is in just the complete framework of intellectual property rights, which can be utilized by our scientists, and along with the scientists, our industry can utilize the capacity of repository of this knowledge in the form of IP documents, which are available free of cost to everybody. Be it the patent, be it the new plant variety, where you can access new plant varieties. Geographical indications are one form of the intellectual property rights, which has a lot of and the ISTI is or functional. So we started preparing for that to protect people's rights. And this is the GI is only IP rights which does not belong to few individual or creators. GI is a right which belongs to the whole the community or people residing in a certain area who has kept that art alive for many years. So it's a community rights. It's a societal, so not as the individual rights. So he has all facets and all faces and aspects which can be nurtured and utilized for the social good. Next, please. Next. So when we talk about grassroots innovation, it is for grassroots innovators and by grassroots innovation. So we need to look at both the aspects because technology does not differentiate at the time of utilization. In most of the cases, if you talk about the vaccine, if you talk about the RT-PCR kit or testing kit, so if you're a grassroots or a bottom of the pyramid or a tip of the pyramid doesn't make difference. Technology will behave and feel for all in a similar manner. So that goes irrespective of the strata of the society you are in. So when we are utilizing technology, we have to keep that aspects also in mind. So on that particular aspect, I just want to show a couple of slides. Next, please. I think we can skip this video. I kept a video here. This is invention done by Dr. Paul from SN Bose National Center for Basic Sciences, Kolkata. And we filed 4 to 5 patents regarding this particular technology. And what is this technology all about? This is an invention which measures the body's parameters, 3 parameters: hemoglobin level, bilirubin level, and the oxygen saturation level. And then this device is a physics-based device which uses infrared and measure all these 3 parameters from showing or measuring pigmentation in your cornea. So the change in color, so just a non-contact device. If I would have played a video, then it could have been more. So this particular device was invented keeping in mind neonatals. When childs are born, so those newborns, most of them have a jaundice, 60 to 70%. So how do you measure the level of jaundice? Or so bilirubin is an indicator. And what you have to do, you have to extract the blood and do a testing, and then measure the bilirubin level, and then you know exactly the severity of a jaundice. But this is a non-contact device, And this works irrespective of race, caste, creed, because the pigmentation in skin is different in different races. So it has been optimized for that. And we licensed this technology to startup. But this license happened prior to pandemic. Now, if we see in of pandemic, if oxygen can be measured non-contact, so these devices can be put at the gate of the organization to measure oxygen level, to suspect the identify the suspected case of COVID. So next, please. So I think I've completed my time, but still I'll just take 2-3 minutes to make my points. PFC has helped in filing more than few hundreds of patent applications all around the country. Basically, this is for government institutes. The gain from blind, which came from a school teacher, the teacher, and this was commercialized. And this was commercialized all alone by his own individual efforts because of the patent support was extended by Patent Facilitating Center. And still he is selling after 13-14 years of manufacturing his cane at an individual level from Kolkata. We had from Northeast the inventor who happened to be director of a SNT council there in Manipur. He invented pedal operated rice, and this was patented by PFC, TIFAC, under the DST, this program of patent facilitation. And this we bargained for licensing in Thailand, in northeast part of the country, Kolkata, etc. And very interesting example, one teacher from Punjab, he came up with few inventive devices or teaching aids, which proves the mathematical theorems. And we filed a patent. People said it cannot be patented. And those patents, government of Punjab assured a buying of 5,000 items and asked him to produce. So because of those patents, and those are a live example that makes mathematics very easy for the students. And I am hoping that all his patents will reach to all students at all level in making better understanding of science and technology. And these things also can be patented. And the geographical indications, Muga silk from Assam, Pulkari from Punjab, and we have worked very hard in supporting those grassroots people in registering GI wherever there is association were not there or people were not there. Our patent information centers became applicant and took care of the interest of people residing in those areas and those part of the country. Next, please. Next. I think this is an consolidated efforts by TIFAC in filing patents, and very important scheme run by this Patent Facilitating Center under the Kiran scheme of Department of Science and Technology, where we train women in the area of intellectual property rights for 1 year. And in 11 batches, about 760 women have been trained in the area of IPR. So they are given hands-on training on the job. And during the pandemic, they produced very important reports. They have done a patent analysis on testing kits, which was sent to ICMR and the PSA office also. And another report was on a vaccine. Another report they created, patent analysis report on masks and PPE kits. So the 4 reports were presented to the stakeholders for utilization of technology relating to COVID. So with this, I just conclude my talk. Thank you very much for giving me patience.
Thank you, Dr. Yashwant. I would like to inform the participants that we have 33 patent information centers, apart from the Patent Facilitation Center, which is at TIFAC. These patent information centers are at state SNT councils, and anybody can utilize the services of these patent information centers. So all the core support groups or other voluntary organizations, those who find that this innovation can be patented, can utilize their services, can go to the office of S&T, state S&T councils and utilize the services. And this is important aspect because as it was mentioned during the presentation of Dr. Yashwant also, like GI, geographical indicators, Fulkari, Muga silk. So these are, every state has its own traditional art or craft, so which can be patented. Rasgulla of West Bengal. So like that, these can be identified at the community level and can be patented. Can be looked for whether it can be patented or not. So now we will move ahead for our next panelist, who is, we invited actually Dr. Ritu Mathur from Tata Energy Resource Institute, but due to the COVID condition at her house, she is not able to join. And instead of Dr. Ritu Mathur, we have Suruchi Bhadwal, and she will be presenting on climate resilient technologies for community. Over to Dr. Bhadwal. Hello. May I request Ms. Suruchi Bhadwal to make a presentation?
Rajni, whether she is here? I think you told that she is here, Rajni.
She has told that she has joined. I am calling her.
What's her name? Bhadwal.
Dr. Lata, it is.
Hello.
Sir, it is Suruchi Bhadwal.
I don't see it. Her name. Yeah, I see her name here. She is here. Yeah, Suruchi Bhadwal, but I don't know like whether she's, she has joined and whether she's available or not. If someone can give her a call, like,
No. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
You are audible.
Yeah, thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to join this meeting. I am presenting on behalf of my colleague, Dr. Ritu Mathur, who's been in touch with DST. Basically, the objective is to compile a list of various technologies that are in use in TERI for the purpose of building climate resilience for communities in India. Basically, these are bits and pieces of different kinds of work being undertaken at different scales within TERI, with the prime objective of solving the larger puzzle of building climate resilience of communities. Next slide, please. To start with, basically, is to understand the risks related to climate and changes in the climate over different time periods. There are different scales at which we are using different tools for the various kinds of assessments. To start with, at the global scale to the regional scale, and then narrowing down to the national scale and the local levels for the various kinds of assessments. The assessments are carried out at a particular scale depending on the objective of the work which is being undertaken. Primarily at the global scale to understand the various teleconnections that exist within the Earth system. Similarly, at the regional scale to understand the interconnections between the North Atlantic Ocean and the Indian Ocean, which may be having an impact on the overall rainfall being received in the summer period. And then at the national level and at the local level, depending on the areas of interest and the purpose of the work that is being carried out. Next slide, please. The various assessments that are carried out, risk assessments that are carried out, then are connected to other kind of tools which are being used to understand the impacts at different scales. The impacts are basically studied both with regard to a spatial scale as well as in the context of the temporal dimension, basically looking at how these impacts have changed over time. There are different kind of impacts that are being studied. It could be in the context of looking at different kinds of sectors and how they are getting affected, and then what kind of solutions can be framed in context, or basically looking at different regions within the country at a greater degree of depth. For example, there are assessments that we have carried out for different states, and you can see the examples of the state of Rajasthan, Maharashtra, the Northeast, and Punjab. Next slide. We have also developed an online tool, and the URL for it is provided, in the slide. Basically, it's called the Terry Climate Tool, and the objective of developing such a tool has been to allow different stakeholders and decision makers at various levels to be able to look at the various kind of models and their outputs in terms of anticipation of changes in the climate in a certain direction and planning with regard to it. And this is a very useful tool that maybe decision makers and planners can use at their seats to be able to integrate it with different kinds of decisions, day-to-day decisions that are being taken on the development side, which may help in terms of building and furthering climate resilience for the sake of the communities. Next slide. This is basically the larger objective of why this kind of work is basically being carried out. It's to address the knowledge gaps in the science and have a better understanding of the changes in the climate to build climate resilience and link it to policy and practice for the sake of the larger good. These assessments, as I said, all are carried out at various scales. So we have global, regional simulations and country level simulations, and we can also zoom down to local levels. There are basically different kinds of scenarios that are being considered, so that because it is futuristic in nature, in terms of understanding the risks, ideally different scenarios are studied, and risks are being studied across the spectrum of the different scenarios that exist, and to understand the entire bandwidth of the risk against which planning and resilience building is to be done. And of course, there are other kinds of studies that are also basically carried out with this information, which is largely to do with understanding the nature of extreme events like droughts and floods and cyclones, and the nature of changes that are likely to be expected in the likelihood of such events in future time periods, and its impacts across different regions, and the need to integrate it within the resilience planning objective at the local level. So all this work is basically integrated and basically being carried out using the different tools that I was discussing in my earlier slides. Next slide. The risk assessments are then basically connected to the impacts assessment and understanding on vulnerabilities and adaptation and mitigation to climate change. And if you see this particular slide, it basically spans across different sectors. Basically, one is trying to understand what are risks across the different sectors, but then after understanding the risks, what kind of technologies, techniques can be considered for adoption for building the resilience at the local level, and starting with agriculture to water-based technologies to technologies needed in the health sector to go, interventions in coastal regions, in cities and urban areas, to the forestry and biodiversity sector. Related to the agricultural sector, it's largely related to agricultural practice techniques, changes in agricultural practices, and projects related to that, that are being explored. A lot of the technologies in the agriculture sector also are to do with the use of biotechnology and the generation of suited varieties for adapting to drought and salinity conditions in coastal areas, and water saving technologies with a special emphasis on drip and sprinkler irrigation, but also sensor-based technologies that may help in terms of appropriatizing the use of various resources, including water for irrigation. In the water sector, the technologies that are being talked about in the context of promoting watershed management and associated techniques across the country, which is already being carried out to a larger scale, but of course it needs continuous engagement. This includes massive implementation in the areas of checking of soil erosion through use of various techniques, whether it's related to afforestation, reforestation measures, soil conservation measures, and or building contour trenches and bunding. Use of domestic appliances of various kinds, which may help in saving water at various fronts, including use and implementation of efficient faucets, flush systems, efficient appliances that require less water in terms of its use. And to some extent, we already have some appliances in the market, and in certain cases, we still need to make a generous move in this direction. It's also to do with technologies in the water sector related to drainage systems and building of embankments, related to areas which are adjacent to rivers or coastal areas, or regions which are affected by floods and are lowland areas, and therefore need technologies, appropriate drainage systems and embankment structures to be able to help resolve the conditions. Water harvesting techniques and recharge of ground aquifers, technologies related to these areas to be promoted in areas that are likely to be affected in terms of erraticity in rainfall, or have an overall lesser amount of rainfall and therefore need to have adequate storage structures built. Coastal regions, of course, it's technologies that are to do with protection of the coastal regions, whether it's with regard to checking coastal erosion and protection of coastal ecology, or building of structures, including dikes. In the health sector, it's to do with the identification of appropriate vaccines to be able to deal with various kinds of diseases that we are talking about to build climate resilience. We are currently locked into a particular situation, of course, not caused because of changes in the climate, but the climate has something to do with the spread of these diseases, including infectious diseases. And therefore, the science of climate emphasizes on the increase in the nature of infectious diseases in future time periods with a warmer world, given conducive environments being, given conducive environments being present for the growth of such diseases. So vector and viruses. So ideally, there needs to be technology promotion in the health sector as well to be able to find appropriate solutions to be able to deal with the challenges that we are likely to face. Then moving on to building city resilience and resilience in urban areas. And rural areas, and of course targeting the forestry and biodiversity sector, which is more on the natural sciences side. Next slide, please. This is to get more deeper into one of the sectors, which is to do with the building resilience in the built environment sector. And this is basically saying that the built environment is just not about buildings, but it's also about adjoining spaces to the buildings, including parks and other kind of infrastructure that is associated with the built environment, which is normally to do with something that has been built by humans and it has not been present in a particular region naturally. Therefore, it's something to do with building something. It's just not about building structures and buildings, but it's also about the adjoining spaces. And ideally, the concept of a resilient built environment is to design, develop, and manage context sensitive buildings, spaces, and places which have the capacity to resist or change in order to reduce hazard vulnerability and enable society to continue functioning economically and socially when subjected to such hazards. Next slide. This is basically to say that a lot of building resilience in the building domain, the built environment domain, is to do with the kind of material that is being used in terms of the various buildings that are being planned. So a lot of it is to do with the type of material that is being used and its capacity to withstand the particular risk that is being talked about. And therefore, in a scenario where one is planning to build resilience related to built environment that is being planned, the idea is to make sure that the material takes into account the expected uses of the structure and its lifetime that normally one does when built environment is being planned, but along with it also consider the exposure to episodic and hazardous events that are likely, which is based on the risk assessments that I was talking about earlier, to be able to integrate that into the planning process and assess the capacity of the material that is being used to be able to withstand both the episodic events and the hazardous events, but also consider the normal use of the infrastructure over its lifetime. Which then in a combination basically allows us to build a resilient infrastructure, resilient and sustainable infrastructure over a period of time. Next slide. Next slide. This is basically to talk about the elements that are normally considered, the process that is followed for proposing the resilience building process in the built environment. To start with, it's basically to know what kind of structure is being planned. Once that is in place, the choice of material and the choice of material, as in the previous slide was being discussed, needs to take into account various aspects, which include both the normal use of that structure and its capacity to withstand over its lifetime, plus consider episodic and hazardous events over that time and be resilient towards that. including, and this would basically require the right kind of skill sets to be basically applied to structure the built environment, and then of course it is linked to the overall costs that may construe. The general queries basically for hazard resistant structures, two queries that we normally keep at the back of our mind is how strong do we think these buildings are to possible hazards in a particular region, and the second is in terms of in case we know what these risks and how strong these structures are. And we know where the weak points are, what kind of diversity in material carrying infrastructure, material property. Next slide.
Surbi, I think
Hello?
we are running short of time because you are at the 9th slide only. So can you just conclude?
Okay. Yeah, okay. So I'll just move fastly to the other technologies and just conclude. So can we move to the next slide? Next slide. Yeah, so maybe we can go to, next slide, please. Next. If we can skip a couple of slides and I can just stop you at next slide, because these are all related to building resilience in the built environment. Next slide. And I'll take you to a new concept then. And next slide. Next slide. This is basically to do with the concept of an urban living lab, wherein to be able to promote resilience in urban areas and in the context of cities, the concept of urban living lab is being introduced, wherein the idea is to support city-to-city partnership for knowledge sharing and sustainable urban development, and planning and implementation of smart, inclusive, sustainable, and climate-friendly measures within the context of cities and urban areas, and building capacities of people within these regions to be able to help implement the various technologies. Next slide. Next slide. This is basically, next slide. This is basically to do with a technology which Terry had introduced in 2008, which is to do with lighting a billion lives. It's basically, the technology is basically promoting the use of solar lanterns in areas which are non-electrified across the country, so that we are able to cover the entire country in terms of access to energy. The model that Terry has been using is based on local entrepreneurship development. And ideally, over a period of 10 years, we have affected around 5 million lives of people around the country, as well as internationally in other countries where, full electrification is still a challenge. Next slide. These are the number of households that have been covered over the years in terms of access to the solar lanterns, clean energy, to be able to provide electricity in different parts of the country in remote areas. Next slide. These are the different technologies that are being used apart from the solar lanterns. There are setups that have been done of solar charging stations at local places. We've set up solar facilities for small-scale industries, set up mini grids in certain locations, and designed solar multi-utility grid systems at the local level, and have been encouraging decentralized energy systems, including mini grids and microgrids. Next slide. Another piece of technology. Next slide. Another piece of technology is to do with the promotion of clean cook stoves, where in rural areas where largely we have people still using traditional ways of cooking using fuel wood. This is with the objective of promoting sustainable use of resources at the local level, as well as a large campaign related to improvement of health of rural people. This is the scale of penetration of the rural cook stoves that have happened so far, and this is the current program that's already been it's been implemented over the years, but it's being implemented currently as well. Next slide. These are the various designs of cook stoves that are being introduced within the country in different parts of the country. Next slide. This is basically a snapshot of the numbers of people reached out with the various technologies, whether it's the solar home systems, where 18,700 plus home systems have been created, about 3,200 plus green jobs have been created at the local level through the Entrepreneurship Development Program. About 17 lakh solar lanterns have already been distributed. There are millions of households that have been illuminated, and about 5.76 million people have been affected with the various intervention programs and technologies that have been introduced. Next slide. Please go to the next slide and the next slide.
May I request you to kindly conclude within 1 minute?
So, okay, I'll just, so if we can, I'll just, okay. Let me see which slide I can go to be able to conclude. Okay, if we can go to slide number 38, if that's fine, just to basically also talk about a different technology which is related to promotion of agriculture at the local level by enhancing the nutrient content of the crops through the use of microbial technology. Yes, this one. So through the use of microbial technology and use of biofertilizers, this is another technology that is being used and introduced in the community to help farmers enhance yields using biofertilizers and natural techniques and reducing the overdependence on chemicals. I will go down to slide number 40, which is basically to do with the promotion of clonal technology and development of appropriate breeding, use of appropriate breeding techniques to develop appropriate genomes that can be introduced, that can be used for building resilience. And I would just conclude with that and say it's, that in a snapshot, we basically presenting a mix of various technologies within the agricultural sector and the building sector, in the context of urban areas or in the context of rural areas, wherein we're already implementing these technologies with governments, with other clients, multilaterals and bilaterals within the country and internationally. And we do look forward to seeing how we can integrate this work in the scope of the work that possibly DST is also looking at. Thank you.
Thank you, Surabhi. Now we are open for the question answer session. And I can see some questions in the chat box. There is one question for Professor Shaktivel. May I request Dr. Sapna to be concluding her presentation? Is Dr. Sapna there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Because it was going on, very interesting presentation going on, and suddenly it stopped.
Sure. So
if you can conclude there before I take the question answer.
Sure, sure. So if you can just share the last two slides while I start this entire story. So Kisan Mitra was a movement of sorts where the budgets, as I said, was zero budget and with no teams from the PSA's office. But we thought that, we should garner the industry and foundations to look at, how we could serve the farmers. So the best thing that we could think of was that science and technology is our strength. So let's, collate and collect all the technologies which are there in our ecosystems from all of the premier institutes as well as startup ecosystem and so on. And from the demand side, we thought that we should, touch base with absolutely any corporate which works on agriculture. So right from TAFE, ITC, Coromandel, Tata Chemicals, Rallis, Nagarjuna, about 60 such demand industries we brought in. The entire exercise was done keeping in mind that some of these technologies would be in the labs in TRL 3 and to TRL 9 levels. So those also needed to be incubated and those also needed to be supported. And there would be market-ready technologies which could be bought for proof of concept or for scale-up or for the farmers. So the demand side had a combination of incubators, industry members, as well as NABARD, DDMs, and FPOs, and so on. And in addition to the 125 projects, this was a completely separate exercise that we had undertaken. So what we did was we brought in about 20 such partners who helped us in different ways. So for instance, NASCOM, National Institute of Agriculture Marketing, IIM Bangalore, they took these agriculture technologies from all the IITs, NITs, to the farmers, to the incubators, to the industry through presentations, agriculture presentations which were made. Even today, if you see, if anybody is interested, there are 3 such presentations which happened during the week, organized by all 3 of them, and the audience is largely different depending on the subject matter. So there were about 6 different phases in this digital platform, which was built by one of the trustees, which is based in Bangalore. And the 6 phases had one agriculture technologies, of course, which was small farm equipments and drones and those kind of mechanization. Second was livestock technologies, which largely were technologies from FICCI, from Gates Foundation and some of the state governments. As well as, of course, ROOTAG, which Dr. Ketki manages. Then we had scientific research, which we kind of connected with ICAR and CSIRs and brought in their research on seeds and farm practices, etc. So these were the 3 phases that which were the primary phases in the digital platform. In addition, my background has been that I worked a lot in the Naxalite areas, and during my Ministry of Skills experience, I was with the Northeast as well as Jammu Kashmir. So I worked a lot in these areas. So something called a Himalayan Bazaar is what I wanted, where we got the FPOs from SFAC as well as from NIAM. And we listed them out and we connected them to the demand, which was for child and women healthcare, so that the nourishment from these mountain states actually go directly to the to the SHGs and the women, basically through ICICI Foundation, Akshay Patra, IKEA Foundation, Rotary, etc. In addition to that, of course, we brought in, I'm also a Chevening fellow, so I brought in some of the Cheveners who work, who are, CTOs as well as retail heads in Reliance Retail, Big Basket and Future Group, so that the FPOs of mountain states also get to engage on this platform. Next slide, please. In addition to these 4 phases, the 5th one, which is I think one of the most interesting projects that I have done in my entire experience, is an app which we created, which is called Atmanirbhar Krishi app. Here, we actually went into different ministries and we requested them to provide their databases, be it ISRO, Meteorological Department, KVKs, ICAR, Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Statistics, and we got different kinds of data on for farmer inputs on soil health, on weather, moisture, pests, land holding size, canals. We also went to new ministries like Jal Ministry, etc., where they actually learned to do, make an API for the first time of sorts. So they gave us data on canals, they gave us data on rivers, etc. So we got all of this inputs and provided that to in a safe CSIR database, and we converted that into simpler terms because a farmer does not understand the language that these databases use. For instance, let me give you an example. If it's a 25 mm water, they don't understand what is 25 mm. So we need to translate it into kam, zyada, and so on. So we did this in about 14 languages. And we have this app freely available now. It's going to be in the Play Store of PSA, and the farmers can use it. So the whole idea was to give them insights on crop selection, fertilizers, weather, etc. In addition to that, we would like a phase 2 of this, where not only these individual advisory services, we also give them a combination of services and advice in terms of crop patterns, etc. So we will be looking at either Google AI or Vadhwani AI to work with IIT Hyderabad is what we are looking at. So that second phase is built of the same app, where not only advisory of each of these individual areas like soil, health, weather is given, also cropping patterns is provided to these farmers. So that was a very good phase 5 of this Kisan Mitra movement that we did, which is an app which all the farmers can download free of cost, and they can be using it in their language, and also through the GI tagging and all of that. Next one was the off-farm, which is a Kala Mitra, because we realized that farmers can be helped through our technologies, but their families, their wives, their kith and kin also work on off-farm areas like textiles, handloom, etc. So the technologies from RUTAG, IITs, and some of the state government has been provided. And from the demand side, we have got industry, we've got Tata Trust, Titan, all of them enrolled so that they can buy these technologies on the platform. The platform also has something called the engagement platform, which means that you can connect through something like a telemedicine, which is basically a video call that you can do to the incubator, to the technologists who has built this. You can rate the technology, you can give the feedback, and so on. So it's a very engaging platform we have tried to build, and all of this, as I said, is zero budget. So Tech Mahindra, Indian Center for Social Transformation, and a startup, all three of them got together to help us and support and make this entire, develop this entire platform. So not only these verticals, we also had certain horizontals. One of them is international engagement horizontal, where we connected the CII Gita, as you know that you are also funding Gita, so you would know. The idea was that we not only provide this in Indian languages, we also have provided this in international languages like Russian and so on, European languages and so on. So here we connect the startups of all of these countries which Gita engages with our startups, so that they can engage together and co-develop some of these agriculture technologies for the future. Also, we want some of our technologies to be bought and encouraged by global organizations. So we looked at these horizontals, and the next horizontal we looked at was a complete learning hub, where we have papers on agriculture which people can read. The farmers have a very easy way of getting through to this platform through an OTP, and so the farmers also have a material that they can read, which might be useful. We have tried our best to make it voice-based, because the farmer is not so literate. So that is the other element in this entire platform. Now the next level that we are looking at is we have garnered all the ITI networks because of the Ministry of Skills engagement that I had. So the ITI network is going to help us to get farmers together and then do some demos and some of the training on these agriculture technologies. We have used the app, and already we have engaged KVKs a couple of times to give us feedback at different levels of this Atmanirbhar Krishi app. So KVKs are already working with us closely. In addition, we have got Pradhan, which is an NGO which works in about 100 districts with KVKs. So we have got them onboarded. IFCO has actually funded this entire Doordarshan episodes, because the farmers can largely watch DD Kisan. So they are going to be looking at these agriculture technologies. So about a series of them this year and the next year. So the entire movement had, like I said, about 20 partners. Almost all of them were either foundations or CSR organizations or public sector units, as well as ministries. So this was a very unique movement where all of us got together for a non-COVID activity while COVID was on. So I think it's been quite successful, and hopefully we will be able to take this to the ground level as well. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Poti. It was interesting presentation where you have shown how the cross-sectoral collaborations can happen for the COVID specifically, and you have been able to create various platforms for the farmers also. So in very short time, you have been able to create these collaborations. So I think there is a lot to learn from you and your team at PSA's office. So we hope that you will be guiding us in creating the collaborations and public-private partnerships. Thank you. Thank you very much. So I would now take the question answers. The first question is for Professor Shaktivel. It is from Dr. Uma Malik. For marketing of rural products through HARTs or other methods by SIRDs, so can producers which are women farmers directly connect with SIRDs? Please shed some light on how the rural products are shortlisted for HARTs, as marketing of products is an issue, and hence giving women economic autonomy is a goal through our projects. So we have Dr. Shaktivel with us. Do we have Dr. Shaktivel with us? I think, let me check. Yes, he is there. He's logged in. I'll now take the next question. The next question is from Dr. Datta to Mr. Kohli. Could we develop an experiment with seed core support groups?
He has already answered. Rashmi, he has already answered on the right.
Okay, sir. Sir, I also had a question with him, whether he would be able to create some training programs for the core support groups, youngsters from the rural areas who are educated in these FIST or SAPI facilities.
I don't know, like he's not here.
He's logged in. But... Okay. Moving on to the next question. This is, I think, more of a suggestion that how we can develop linkage with core support group, NGO groups, and SSDIs for mutual benefit. This is from Dr. Datta to Dr. Acharya.
I think he has also replied on the right.
Yes. He has replied. Then the next question was from Dr. Sunil to Dr. Yashwant, which is also which has been answered by Dr. Yashwant.
Yeah, I've answered on the chat, so I can repeat. See, this project to the small NGO. The question I can read.
Question I can read. Yes, it is basically how small NGOs can file a patent related to social innovation if working at a village level. Any facilitation mechanism, online process to enable these organizations working in far-flung areas with limited manpower and resource constraint.
Yeah, but whatever answer I've given, I can add to that. See, the patent filing now online. So the far-flung areas, people can file patent online, and they can pay fee online also. And in addition, if the invention emanates from government funding, then it would be joint application. So in that case, PFC can take care of a patent filing. If they want to really make use of the invention and set up a startup based on those inventions, then there is a scheme from Patent Office, which there are 400 plus startup facilitators. They can really help them in filing patent, and there's a provision of reduction of a fee of 80%. So 20% patent filing fee they have to pay. And in addition to all, there is a scheme with CPAM under Ministry of DPIIT where they support such people in filing patents.
Thank you,
That's all.
Dr. Yashwant. Thank you very much. So we are through with the question answers, and if anybody else has a question, you can just send your query. Anybody has a question? I think we should now move on to conclusion. So I would request Dr. Datta to please give the concluding remarks.
Yeah, before that, I request, whether Dr. Anil Joshi is here, because as a part of the technical advisory group, is he here? I don't see him here. Dr. Anil Joshi is here. Dr. Joshi, are you here? Dr. Joshi? Dr. Joshi? Dr. Joshi, yeah. Yeah, are you here?
Sir, he is not logged in.
Yes, hello. Yeah, just a minute. Like, I'm putting your the phone near my this thing, so that yeah. Bataiye. Yeah, please tell.
Sir, we are not able to hear that, so maybe you can repeat that, whatever he's saying.
Yeah, no, it is not audible. So what? Yeah. Okay, I will put this. Okay, so what Dr. Joshi is saying, that first of all, like, I agree also that the NI is a NIPR, NIPRD, like, it's a NIRDPR rather, NIRDPR, and seek to, collaborate and create a program, and also for like what he's suggesting, the NIF, like, because of its strong field level presence, and it should collaborate to find out the the conditions at a local level which promotes the innovations and how to upscale that. So these are the 2 points. So I think today's today being the last week, the idea was here, like here till now we have heard about the agriculture sector, the different aspects of that, the economy and the MSME, and also the social infrastructure. But there are certain cross-cutting issues that are the first of them is the so between the the inter-ministerial or the inter-departmental. And also there is within the DST, there are many intra-divisional collaborations, can be possible. And also then the role of the IP or the intellectual property at the village level or at a local level in protecting the IP. So that is like what we have heard basically. This is Sethi from the JSMOPR, who brought up that how all of our efforts can improve the ease of living of the common man. So probably that becomes one of the the directions which has come from the honorable prime ministers, but the MOPR, the focus is on that how the technology can help in ease of living of the common man. Like regarding the collaborations with the MOPR, like in what I put, and he agreed that MOPR collaborations can help us also in identifying the problem across the country, and which we can respond by through our the projects and the program support. So what NIR DPR, Dr. Shakti, he brought out that the collaborations opportunity what we have with the seed different through the seed programs to the different stakeholders with the Ministry of Rural Development and also the the Panchayati Raj, that the the RTPs, that what the rural technology parks which again emanated out of the seed collaboration itself, how that we can form a platform for promoting the potential technologies, leaving we can, as he has already told, at the live demo gallery at the the rural technology park of NIDPR, and then capacity building programs together, analysis on annual basis in collaborations with the knowledge organizations, annual conclave of the knowledge institutions, and the social entrepreneurs, and as well as the the non-governmental organizations, and then a forum of the R&D institutes for conducting the the rural level technology interventions, and a portal for disseminations of the technology. Already like this we have considered. With the NIF, we know that the very good work what NIF has done. This bottom-up approach of the NIF, and also the where seed is working in a bottom-up and the top-down in both the approach. We can meet, and I think as I was discussing with what we find that that Dr. Praveen, that we have Dr. Vipin Kumar, that we can have a collaborative program where the the NIF technologies can be taken through the technology transfer and the technology disseminations, what we do to the seed programs, where the NIF technologies be candidates in that. So that is an the experiment we can do as a follow-up. The CSIR, NBRI, that Dr. Sharad very nicely talked about that. What are the STI-based skill development programs there? So these are very the unique concept of, and this gives the really the Atmanirbharatas, the building blocks of this Atmanirbharata, that starting from a plant tissue culture technician, soil water testing, lab analyst, gardener, pollution monitoring, soil. So this is a very the good ideas, and now we can have it like this type of a collaborative capacity building programs, where I request like all our NGO partners to find it out at the local level, like how we can collaborate with this green skill development programs with the CSIR and BRI. Then when we looked into the intra-divisional collaborations of DST, what Mr. Kohli put it up, that how is the FEAST and the SATHI network can be used as a standardization and certifications, the mechanism for locally appropriate technologies developed by the the NGOs and even many of the the startups. So this is again an experiment we can do, like we can take in our core support groups, and through his his divisions we can have a linkage and can start in some of the places. Like he has shown the distributions of the SATHI and FIST, the centers, and so we can have this the collaborative the programs for these certification and standardizations of the locally relevant technologies, and we will discuss and have the follow-up. Mr. P.S. Acharya talked about that this state spatial data infrastructures, how this can be linked with the NGOs, and there is a mutually beneficial, because in current the situations, the spatial and the non-spatial data should be a component of the the local level development, what all of you do, and many of you collect the data, what can they can be a part of the state spatial data infrastructure. Dr. Sapnapati has spoken about that the PSA's offices, like their initiatives and the experience for the public-private partnerships, where the industry engagement through the CSR can be, and then the way of strengthening the local level STI ecosystem. And the other is the Kisan Mitra, like which and the Kala Mitra, this and which looking for the farm and the non-farm opportunities in the digital platforms, which gives us the new opportunity for collaborations at different level and the different skills. It can be, there are many the outreach app which can be taken, which can be the really technology enabler for many of the non-governmental organizations for working in the and Dr. Yashwant basically highlighted the experience of how the many of the technologies and the innovations at the local level can be protected through the intellectual property, the IP intellectual protections, and also the GI, that the geographic indicators, how it can be like one of the pathways of that. He has given the answer that how the NGOs, small NGOs, can also look protected. The Terry representative talked about like the climate resilient technologies, which can be also the candidate technologies for taking forward. So the idea was to look into the cross-cutting, the issues, and which is the cross-cutting in terms of the ministries, the departments, the data, and also the standardizations and the IP. So we have got just some aspects of that, because there are many other cross-cutting issues are there for the Science Society Setu for the Atmanirbhar Bharat, and we will hear about it like tomorrow from the the non-governmental and also the startups community, that what are the technologicals and the institutionals and the other the issues are there. And with that, and also we will conclude tomorrow, as I already discussed, that the lessons learned and the opportunities identified and the necessary follow-up to be done with this framework. So with that, I thank all of you, and it's for 6 months, and thank you all. Okay, Rashmi, we are closing then. Yeah.
Thanks to all the speakers, all the participants. I thank you all from the team Science Society Setu for Atmanirbhar.